Let's go. Hello, everybody. Hello, the internet. Hello, everyone for the AWOL Ultra Weekly Online League. I think we're on 14 or 15. I just
We
cut
are
it off.
14.
We are in 14. I am your host, Gus the Bus, here with my beautiful, rare star sign Simon co-host, director, CEO, CFO. I don't know how many more titles I could give you.
CMO,
CMO,
COO,
the man,
all
the
of the C's
legend,
and the O's. Thank you for
Starshine
having me.
Simon.
It's it's the end of season tradition. We've got this week and one more week before the invitational. So, I had to come on, do a stream. I always like hopping on near the end just to make sure that everybody, you know, gets that face recognition for me because Blue and Cole are on here all the time and so many of our other streamers like you, Gus, Rinku, Runefolk, Bandit, everybody's on here except me. So, a lot of people don't know who I actually am. They just see me as the annoying guy that cancels group 4 twice. Um, so I have to, let them put a face to the name, especially since I will be at Worlds, and I'm really looking forward.
Oh,
I know. I
spoilers already,
I bought a
man.
ticket. I bought a ticket. I bought a plane
Bought a
ticket, and
ticket.
I'm working on getting stuff set up. But I'm really looking forward to meeting some people at Worlds that I haven't ever got to interact with in person. So, spoiler, you know what I look like now. So come say hi.
That's incredible. I'm glad you are
People are
going
already
to
scoping
Worlds.
out my background. I'm glad I moved that Amazon package because somebody just saw a Tyranid box set that I have, a Warhammer set. But that's not the only reason why I'm here, Mr. Gus. I have something else for today. We have exclusively for you, well, not just you, but all the people
Oh,
watching.
those for me.
They could be exclusively for you. You don't have to share with anyone.
Okay. Well, I could put up the hidden image you want me
Okay,
to.
put up the hidden images. We have our AWOL exclusive Skybound Odyssey reveal card. I always love reveal season and spoiler season because there's so many cool cards to look out for. And I really, really like the card that AWOL and myself got to spoil. So let's go ahead
I
and
do
put up that
too.
spoiler image of all the hidden images, and we'll talk a little bit about what we've got up there. So as you can see on your screen right now, we have 3 hidden card images. I'm making it a little bit difficult. I want to talk about the cards first. If you know me and you know how I play Altered, Bravos is my favorite faction. Um,
Woo,
usually,
bravos.
usually followed by some combination of like Muna, Ortis, or Axiom.
Ew.
Not the biggest Lyra or Ysmir fans. Ysmir is fine. Ysmir is fine. If I like Lindaway a lot, and I've actually been playing a Baku Akesha deck. So I really
Respectable.
like making
Respectable.
people discard cards. I know that you're our resident Lindaway, or not Lindaway, resident Izmir player. I know you were the faction champion in Baltimore.
I was.
Give
I
yourself
was. W
props.
W.
So this is a cool card that's actually going to be for both of us, because we're both going to enjoy seeing this card. So go ahead, feel free to move it over to reveal the first common
All right,
image of the
guys.
card.
Bada, bada, bada,
Got some
bada,
cool
bada, bada, bada,
stuff.
bada. Boom.
All right. As you can see, we have been given one of the cool signets to reveal. The signets are a cycle of 6 cards that have 3 modes on them, and each mode is something that the faction does. There have been a few different ones revealed so far that are very flavorful and in faction, but I really don't think there's any that have been more flavorful than the Bravos signet that we got. So just looking down, top to bottom on the card, 3 mana, so it's playable on the first turn, which is always good to see. And 4 from the reserve, so it can be played the next turn too, which I really like. Choose one. You either have target character gain 3 boosts, return target character with a hand cost 3 or less to its owner's hand, or put the top card of your deck into your mana zone. So, off the top of your head, Gus, which one of these effects do you like the most?
All of them.
All of them?
They're all pretty good. A little bit too good. A little bit suspiciously too good.
They are pretty good. They're like very modal, right? Because physical training as the common that gives 3 boosts is 2 mana from hand, 3 from reserve. Intimidate is bounces anything that's 4 or less, but does characters or permanents. This only does characters that are 3 or less.
True, true.
And it also has, most notably, turn one ramp in the effect for the top card of your deck into your mana zone for a 3 mana effect, which I think is like really, really good, right? Um, a lot of its Sadi lists are already playing mana channeling to get to that turn of mana. And this is like a mana channeling on the first turn because you usually don't have a 1 mana play to follow it up with, or if you do, it's too weak to contest. But this is a mana channeling without fleeting. Notably, this card does not have fleeting. So you can Bravo Signet on one, play something on turn two, Signet turn 3 with a 2 cost card, and, like, you're on turn 8 on turn 4, which is, like, Hunger turn or, like, any other there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with this.
Oh
I
yeah.
really, really like this Signet. So whenever you're ready, feel free to flip us over to the rare version.
Boom.
Alright, the rare version,
Oof. Icy.
very cool. The rare version does cost a little bit more, but all of the signets gain two effects when you. I think, anyways. The ones we've seen so far have all done it, so I'm assuming all of them do it. They gain two of their effects when you play them, with a higher mana cost, and the card itself has fleeting. Um, I'm actually not as impressed by the rare on this card just because it has that fleeting ability. Um, but getting two different effects on the one card for 5 mana is actually not the worst thing in the world. So I could see a world where people play this if they have an extra rare slot just to have that utility all wrapped up into one card. But I still think the common's a little bit better. But
I will say the art looks very nice and clean
the
though.
art's awesome. We talked about doing a reveal video of me getting an actual factual tattoo of the signet on my shoulder of the symbol, which I legitimately considered. But I don't have any tattoos, and I've been wanting my first tattoo to be a special one. Not that altered can't be special. But I have something else already in mind. So if was already tatted up, there's a good chance that this would have been on my shoulder for the reveal video.
You don't want moonlight jellyfish on your shoulder, that's for sure.
I don't think this card's good enough to be banned. All right, let's go
All
ahead and
right.
take a look at
I
the
can't wait to see this
last
one.
card.
This is for me, baby. Let's go.
Let's hear you talk about the last card because this one's
Uh,
right up your
this
alley.
is I've been waiting for this for a whole year. Moon Diazmir finally can ramp something. Yes, it does cost 5. Yes, I know it does cost 5. And yeah, it does cost 5. But you know what? I'll take it.
Hey, look,
Diazmir finally got a ramp. We finally did it.
it's like actually a really cool card because, like you said, he's mirror has not had any ramp effects until now. Um, so the fact that you now have an effect that can do so could potentially open up some like really interesting strategies. Especially with what's the current archetype that they're pushing in Skybound Odyssey
Damn,
for
those
Ysmir.
yeah, the 4 plus space spell cards. This is gonna be right out good alley for the new hero, Moyo.
I know, right? So it could be something right up the alley for Moyo. It could potentially get you closer to, say, a Celebration Day or a Catagear Bastion if you want to be doing
Alright,
those sorts of things.
we don't need to give Runefolk any more ideas here, alright?
We absolutely can. I think this card is really, really cool. Um, So I'm a big fan of how all of the cards turned out for this cycle. Um, the signets are really, really near and dear to my heart. Coming from other card games, effects like this that let you pick between three flavorful options is something that's like really, really enjoyable for gameplay purposes. And I can see all of these cards actually seeing gameplay like viability in the new metagame. So I can't wait to see what all the other signets do. I need to check up and see if there have been any revealed since last looked. The ones I remember seeing were Ortis, Luna, and Ysmir. I don't think we've seen Axiom or Lyra yet. Um, so I'm really, really excited to see what, all the other ones do. But that's enough for now. We've
Yeah,
spent plenty of time gushing over these beautiful cards. We have a tournament to get into.
that is true, Simon, that is true. Let me tell you right now, we're going straight to table 2. I was gonna say table 3, but Kaifu's there now. We'll watch Kaifu later, probably. So
Able to. All right.
we're watching some good old KRA violence.
And the KRA team kill.
Yeah,
Unfortunate. But well, hopping into this match, it looks like we've got
yeah.
Sierra versus Akasha. This is an interesting matchup.
You got this Moon and Merchant unique here from anywhere you control a token, resupply from anywhere, draw a card. Well, that is a pretty strong Moon and Merchant.
Yeah. One thing that I think is actually cool to note on that Muna Merchant, if you control a token effects, are gonna get pretty good moving into next set because all of the Aerolith cards are tokens. So while other heroes needed some extra setup to get tokens into play, Isari and Pebble notably do not. So say for example you have this Muna Merchant while you have a the Aerolith token, it automatically by the token itself triggers all of the effects on the Muna Merchant to have all that extra card advantage, which I think is pretty sick.
Yeah, it is. Oh my god, I'm telling you right now, Simon, I just can't. I can't wait. I'm gonna be in a coma. Wake me up when the set comes out because I just want the next set to come out. I just want to play all these cards. I want more cards to be revealed.
I'm really, really excited too, but hey, we can't get too ahead of ourselves. We still have this week and next week, and then we have our seasonal invitational.
That's true.
Uh, Best of the best. Any players that have gone 5-1 in one of our weekly events have the opportunity to play. But if you really, really can't wait to play the new cards, I think there's actually a cool event that'll be happening on Sunday for those of you who are
Really?
excited. We'll talk more about that later. We'll talk more about that later. I'm curious in this game. I'm invested. We see a rare Grems coming down.
Yeah.
Interestingly, to see the rare, as someone that dabbles in Axiom, I don't play it the most myself, but I dabble occasionally. It's always interesting to me to see when people decide to put the rare copies into their deck over the commons just for the extra stat boost as well as being able to hit more permanents with the removal options. It's almost like a metagame call, I feel, for if there's going to be permanents with those higher hand costs. If you want to play the rare, so like it can either massively reward you or just be a terrible choice of a rare slot.
Um, yeah, I'm oh, they play this from hand. I thought for a second they played this from reserve. I was like, interesting they didn't use any of the effects from reserve, but I see now that it was played from hand. And it looks like they actually got fleeting on it from the unique Ada Lovelace here. And
I
people
have a
start
question in
moves.
chat asking me what my favorite card is that I've revealed.
Yeah.
I've only had the opportunity to reveal two cards. I've been able to reveal the Signet and Bravos Excavator. Um, so between the two, it's tough. Excavator is cool and sees play in Basira, but I'm curious to see the Signet and if people tech it into different Bravos strategies.
I think the Signet is gonna be much more impactful for sure. I think yours definitely been the coolest so far. And I might be a
The
little bit
coolest of the
biased.
Signets.
Yeah, I might be a little biased, but
I think that the
who
Signet,
knows?
the Bravo Signet, is very on faction and on brand for what the faction does. And if I am biased myself, the Adventure Pass version of the card is going to be beautiful. Have you seen it yet?
I have not seen. I didn't know they actually released the
They've shown the images on an article of what all the Adventure
uh
Pass versions look like, and the Bravos one is top tier looking.
no, I didn't know they released the article.
Yeah. All right. Back to the game, so I don't keep getting distracted by
It's okay. It's just
very,
KR,
very.
it's just KRA members just playing around. It's gonna be they're tying up in expeditions. The Kesha has a little bit more resources going on compared to the Sierra Mist player, but
I'm very curious about just the general options that this Akesha has access to right now. Their Muna Druid or Muna Caregiver that's in the reserve has the opportunity to pick back up a spell or any card from the reserve to the hand if it puts a card from the hand into the reserve. And it also has an arrow to give a character fleeting. And you can also see that the Ada Lovelace has that same
Yeah.
arrow give a character fleeting. So all
Uh,
this makes me wonder if they are trying to specifically build around giving fleeting to opposing characters is a form of like pseudo card disruption to not let them have things hit that reserve.
yeah, honestly, it pretty is interesting way to play Akesha. Just playing around these uniques that give fleeting. I wonder. I mean, I'm assuming the last unique they have might do the same exact thing here, but I'm not sure how effective this is against Serum Mist, as they mainly focus on landmarks and tokens.
Yeah, it's
Not
definitely
saying it's not effective, but it's
it's
definitely be used.
it's definitely less effective because you can see with all these different resupply effects that they've had between the frozen deliveries, the Muna Merchant, um, and the bug out bag they can't even hit with this fleeting because it only gives it to characters. Those uniques might not be the most impressive ones to see here. And right now, they're kind of in a not great spot of the stats that are on board. Although this Silas coming down does get at least one stat over to trade expeditions move forward in the tumult without giving up too much card advantage.
Yeah, we can't always gotta count on Sexy Silas here.
Mhm.
The real question is, what are they gonna remove from reserve here? Do they just keep the Silas, or do you think they're just get rid of one of the uniques?
I think it's a smarter idea to get rid of the Ada Lovelace unique here, just because the caregiver has extra utility of anchoring things or picking up a card from the reserve.
That's
So if
true.
they want to, they can pick up this Silas. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
would do if I were in their position.
that's true.
Because the Silas's stats are like very meaningful here. He's gonna be like a 4 mana 7/7. For my Hearthstone friends, you know about how strong those are. Um, but a 4 mana 7/7/7 is like pretty solid because it'll also draw a card and potentially gain more boosts while in the reserve. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this caregiver come out and swap this Silas with a card from hand before using the Akesha's ability just to make sure that they get to play that Silas again. Now, they could alternatively um, wait to try to get the fleeting effect off for the Muna caregiver. But with the opponent having two Nylum withered trees, I think that might be a little bit greedy. And I would probably just opt to pick up my card to guarantee have access to play it on my turn.
Yeah, I agree to that. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell what this Kesha kind of has in her hand too. Maybe they might just opt that out instead of just say, "Hey, I'll let you exhaust whatever I have in my reserve." But maybe we'll play like a little Baku to reduce the hand cost from the Serum Mist. It's also an option as well if they're playing anything like that, or maybe they're just more
If they
focused on boosting up. Never mind, you're both
so
wrong.
immediately just running out the Silas,
Yeah,
keeping the stats they feel is less important than actually playing a card. This posturing does kind of feel like they might have a Baku to me. Um, there's a good chance that they end up playing out this machine in the ice from the reserve and then a card from the hand, and Baku gets to snipe the last one, which is just such a dirty but great feeling at the same time. Do you play Baku in any of the Izmir lists that you play,
yes, I
Gus?
do. I do have a Baku type of thing, but let me tell you right now, this is one of the removals I don't see often. Sap Overflow, discarding the Silas.
Yeah, discard target character in play or in reserve.
Yeah,
Um, the very interesting effect. Uh, Hard discarding doesn't come along too often in altered, at least without a downside. But this one does cost 4 mana.
yeah.
And it can only target characters. So if this Akesha have a landmark like an Aether Shard or a Katagear, it could be deadly. But if Akesha has a Baku here, places it on the companion side, I think they'll be in a pretty good spot. They've removed a lot of the options from the opponent's side of the board. And if they just play for like a hunger turn on the arena, or the turn before, I think they would be in a pretty comfortable spot to win this
Oh
game.
yeah. I was gonna say the Sap Overflow. The only other card we've seen similar like that is from Banish the Gate, just from set one. I know it's not the same exact thing, but it's almost similar enough to where you could say, "Hey, either I'm gonna discard something from your field or from your expedition or from your reserve compared to Banish a Gate where you just discard a character or permanent in play.
So instead of actually having a Baku, they have a removal spell to answer that machine in the ice, play a 2 cost from their hand, get that advancement, have their Kaibara counter at 0, and set up for a next turn where there's a very good chance that they'll just outright win the game.
Yeah, if they have hunger in hand, this is the time to play it. Well, after this
It
day, obviously, but yeah.
it would be pretty nasty. Best case scenario for them, I feel, is magical training into hunger. Just because they then get to force the opponent to play both of their cards. Or they choose not to mana, so they could potentially only play 2 cards before getting hungered. But you see
Ooh,
an Ogun
another
unique coming
unique.
out. Whenever you make a token, you can put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, robots other than me gain a boost. Here comes that magical training I expected from the Akesha. Will we see the hunger come down afterwards?
Here it comes. There's GG's in the chat. So, I mean, there's also a possibility of just using this engraver to just push something out as
It's
well.
true. I just want to see a hungry boy. I love that hungry, hungry hippo.
These
Akesha
players are just
taking,
talking it out.
yeah, taking a little bit of time, talking with their opponent. Got to make sure they're mindful. They only have 2.5 minutes left on their clock. So you don't want
You
to be
know,
caught talking too much without actually playing.
that is true, Simon. That is so true. What I have no idea what they have in their hand, obviously, but I guess they don't have the hunger. Otherwise, they would have played it.
Yeah,
Or do you think they're afraid that they have another sap overflow from hand?
the thing is, even if they have another SAP overflow, what really happens? Like,
Just
there's
delaying another
still,
day. Yeah.
yeah, they delay another day and answer that Nylum withered. Both of the Nylums take them off the board. Not
Oh,
going for the hunger.
I guess they don't have it.
Guess they don't have it. Running out this Muna caregiver. Maybe we'll see them put a card from their hand in reserve to pick something up. And that Studious Disciple does go into the reserve. That magical training does get picked up. Look coming
Oh,
out.
hug too.
Ooh. Moving Ogun.
Hmm. I wonder why they didn't give fleeting to the other Ogon. Because if they use the engraver from reserve and use the boost, it will have zero in water. At that time, obviously, but now it's gonna have more than zero in water.
Yeah, I'm curious to see why they did that. Although I guess now it doesn't really matter. Hooked. They've already passed. No effects gained off of it. Izmir Engraver just sending the unique to the reserve. They'll tie up the expedition on one side unless they choose to run out of beauty sleep, get all of the extra advancements.
Gotta get that style points in, you know?
Style points indeed. Hey, I don't see anything wrong with guaranteeing your victory. That's the
Hey,
way that I view it. Players are
that
allowed to
is true.
concede the game at any time in tournaments.
Are we? I thought we couldn't on this one.
You can concede in tournaments.
Oh,
I've seen it happen.
oh, maybe it was one thing.
I don't know if it's at any time,
Ah,
but it's definitely able to be.
okay. Maybe I
All
was thinking
right.
early at one point and it didn't work.
Seeing the Akesha take that first win.
W Kesha.
W Kesha.
We have one more table on
Oh
table
yeah?
4. Yeah.
Table 4. Go ahead and we'll take a look at table.
Interesting matchup here. I think we're getting an influx of Sierra Mist players.
Hey, Sierra's not in a bad spot right now, They've got a lot of options available to them.
That is true, and they're gonna get a lot more options next set too.
What do you think about this Brass Bug Hive, the third one being played from our Sierra player?
It is interesting choice to make here, but I'm not sure if this Lindaway. I'm assuming they just played the third brass bug just to call it, hey, I'm gonna win this game here, which is not gonna be enough. So it seems
No.
like The last brass bug, it might have been played this day as a way to boost up the rest of the brass bug tokens.
Yeah, getting 6 mana for another 10, 10, 10 worth in stats is pretty solid. But they did just let the Lindaway player get an entire turn to basically decide what they wanted to do. Um, and now that the Kaibara counter for both characters are on 0, a Moth Lantern being out with a Lindaway turn online to have the Maul, this might not be the place you want to be as a Sierra.
Yeah. I'm assuming Alphabet here, the Sierra player was just trying to end the game right there, and probably was not expecting the blizzard hitting them in the face.
Yeah, trying to go for that game shot can work out sometimes. Had potential to work out there. Doesn't look like it did. Light jellyfish coming out. On the alternative side, the
I
Tinkerbell
I
comes.
was I will say that we don't usually see the rare Tinkerbell at all.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an interesting choice, specifically because the only advantage that it brings with it is one less mana cost from hand, and usually you want like extra upside than one reduced mana cost. If it's two reduced mana cost, extra stats, extra ability, but the only thing it has is one cheaper from hand than from the main version. Um, oh, that's gonna be nasty.
Oof.
Second Moth Lantern coming out.
That is a little bit brutal. I'm not sure this Sierra Mist player has enough to try to block both sides here, since Lindaway does have 3 more cards left in hand, 7 mana left, plenty of things to do. The Baba Isba.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to block both sides. They'll probably be able to just trade expeditions. I don't know though. It really depends on how much they want to commit here because you never know what's in the Lindaway's hand. They could have another blizzard, which would be so devastating. Um, they could also potentially have a unique as some sort of sacrifice effect. We've only seen one so far, and it has been an Amarok unique.
I said Sierra Mist, not Sierra Mist player, okay? I guess I said it's like Sierra Mist player. Oh,
Sierra Mist is a drink. It is a soda for all you Europeans. I don't know
uh,
if it's a thing over
it's
there.
not it's not a drink it's not a drink anymore. Oh, Starry now.
Oh, that's right. They did turn it into Starry. What
We
is
got
it? It's the Pepsi version of Sprite.
yeah. We got a unique student disciple in play here from reserve. When you put it, you may put a card from your hand in reserve. If it's a spell, you may return a card from your reserve back to your hand, and then from hand, draw a card. And then the typical support ability, next spell you played after that, the next spell you played this afternoon costs one less. It's a pretty decent student disciple.
Yeah,
I seen some that have a little bit better stats on it, but
I'm curious to see if Lindaway
not bad.
has any other sacrifice cards in hand or things that are better as sacrifice fodder, like a Chrysalis. Um, just because I'm not sure if they want to give up the Studious Disciple. But Rare
Oh,
Hooked coming out from.
for the maw.
Okay. Rare Hooked coming out, moving them all over. That's kind of dangerous. Specifically because they can use this Isba now on the Studious Disciple, and they immediately have all of the stats that they need to advance on the companion and force this arena tiebreaker. So if they have a Blizzard or two removal spells that can hit the Brass Bug and Tinkerbell, they're in a position where they just outright win the game here. That is, if there is no one cost character. I am potentially getting a little bit ahead of myself.
I guess just Linda Wake's just here, so they're trying to decide what to do here. I'm sure they have a way to overcome the left expedition. I was expecting Ysmir Nurse to be played eventually. I didn't know it was gonna be this day. But I guess sacrificing their unique to get that extra boost. Throw in 2 tokens in there, and that's 12 all. It's enough to advance the hero expedition.
Do they have a off you go? An off you go would be enough to win the game.
That is true.
They
Ooh.
do not. I don't know if I would have committed that Izmir Nurse instead of just using the Isba, right?
Yeah, I would have done the Isba. I mean, it would have
Because
been
now you
essentially
have
the
to
same
get
thing.
rid
Yeah.
of a nurse, and that's another sacrifice outlet.
Yeah, I don't think that was the correct play by the Linda Way player.
And we're now in a situation where Sierra is looking to be in a pretty comfortable spot, right? They're going to have the day start by having two brass bug hive triggers. So they'll
Yep.
have 6 6, or my bad, 8 8 8 in stats just immediately starting
Yep.
out. And they have the opportunity to play the Foundry armor before their opponent has a chance to play, bringing out
Yeah.
another 6 6 6 in stats. So basically, they'll be at 14 14 14 before anything's even said and done. Now, Lindaway's Moth Lanterns can give quite a bit of a boost to your statistics, but that's if you have characters to sacrifice. And right now, we haven't seen what the contents of Lindaway's hands are to make that decision yet.
Yeah, they just drew another card from Baba Isba. I'm not sure. I guess just stalling for time here. Maybe draw another character, possibly. Oh, that's not what you wanted to see.
No, you
Mm.
definitely do not want to see a second
Oh,
Foundry armor come out, going up to 20 20 20 in stats. They say that hindsight is 2020. I think it's 20 20 20. So the Lindaway player is probably making themselves curse because of playing that nurse last turn. They didn't need to. Oh my
oh,
god, this
God,
is
no, it's
brutal.
brutal.
Magical training too, making another brass
uh,
bug.
yeah, back to
Ah,
24. It looks like we might get up to 28. Unless they have another Foundry armor in hand, and then that'll be straight to 30.
this Sierra, they are putting in the dirty work right now.
I mean, they use their Blizzard, and usually most players have like a Blizzard one off here. So if they had a weird opportunity to have another Blizzard in hand, that would be incredible to see. But I don't. It would not be enough to win the game for sure.
Very interesting game we're seeing here.
Oh,
You see
Keelon Burst.
Keelan Burst coming out, answering that Moth Lantern, making sure that there's just nothing that's gonna happen.
Oh well, never mind. I guess I did misspoke a little bit, huh?
We did have that Blizzard, but the Blizzard's not enough to overcome the
Yeah,
10 10 10 worth of stats still remaining.
too much
Sierra's
mana.
gonna take the win, moving to the next round with a W on the table.
We were asked if we have any caster predictions today.
Ooh, unlike what
Who's
deck
gonna
or what
win?
player?
I'm not sure if Roomful meant player. I guess no, deck because he said Kojo.
Um, I'm gonna throw out a wild one.
I say Arjon.
No,
I
not
know
that
why.
wild. I was gonna say a Muna hero though. I'm gonna say that if there's a Tasia that's currently 1-0, they're gonna go undefeated today.
I'm gonna go. I'm not sure who to go for. I'm gonna go definitely not Linda Way. I'm gonna go for that Kesha player that we saw earlier.
And Akesha, whew, what a deck. I love Akesha.
You know what I will also love? If we pick the table.
Let's go ahead. Let's hop in on table three.
Table
We've got a to
three.
be played. No, we don't have to do table three.
No, we can do
That
table
was the
three.
joke. There's one of the players aren't there.
Yeah, Arleia beat my butt on my stream the other day, so I guess we should just watch her beat other people's butts as well.
Looks like the opponent is gonna be here. We're gonna have the opportunity to watch this table.
Yeah, we're watching Arleia. Don't mess this up. No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure whatsoever. You better be the Tasia that's going undefeated today.
I'm not sure they played Tasia. I think they were. I'm not sure
Are
what they
they on
usually
the
play.
Lyra deck right now? They've been playing a little bit of Tasia recently.
It's funny 'cause a lot of times I watch the players, but I don't memorize what decks they usually play. I just memorize their names.
I am okay at memorizing some of the things that people play. But honestly, I don't watch as many games as the streamers do. Um, so it's not as much of a thing for me. But it doesn't look like they're on Tasia, but instead,
Aurak.
Borak and Kibble. Now this
Yeah.
is a hero that historically has been kind of thrown in the gutter by a lot of players. But this past weekend, I got a top 4 at the Baltimore WC, and they actually ended up winning the London WCQ with a quote unquote infinite resupply build.
Yeah. I mean, I was there in Baltimore. It was two Iron Chains rocking with Aurak, and I had an opportunity to sit right next to them as I was what did I win that game or I lose that game? I was winning that game. I was watching him and he was playing pretty clean. It was a pretty clean deck.
BGA legend, two
Yeah.
Iron Chain. Now, Orok is a little bit of a trickier hero to get a good read on, just because so much of their strength is tied to the randomness of their hero effect and the deck building restrictions that come with it. Granted, Lyra does have a lot of heroes that specifically have one or one region that's 0, sometimes even more. Um, but revealing the top card of your deck and playing it for free sometimes is like not the most optimal thing in the world.
That is true, especially when it comes to cards that have a hand effect.
Indeed. So we will see this Bliss Keytarist has 2 boosts, one from that data list, one from itself. The 4/2/4 in stats, perfect stats to block on the companion expedition. And because it has the boosts, if it can stick around this turn, it'll be able to actually potentially add a card from their deck to their hand.
See what they get. They do get a floor. Believe a floor?
That floor is great. It actually sets up their expeditions quite well.
Yeah, for those who
So
don't know what that is, I know it's not the card they use commonly, but I believe at every new you have to target a character in play or in reserve and it gains a boost.
yes,
Correct?
and notably, it is a mandatory target. I don't know if you saw that on the Top Cut stream of the Baltimore event, but there was a situation where there was a floor in reserve by the Tasia player that had to target one of their opponent's cards because they did not have any legal targets in play, and floor is a mandatory effect.
Yeah, it happened to me in my locals last month when I did it, and I was like, oh wait, I have to target something. uh
See this Ouroboros Trickster coming out. Let's get that up on the screen.
it is on the
One
screen
mana,
here.
1/00. When it goes to reserve from the expedition, has card advantage. Roll a dice, draw a card on a 4 or higher, 1/3 resupply. Uh, Spirit Wielder unique coming down on the opposite side though,
Yeah.
having a little bit of card advantage too, based around landmarks, but also being able to gain boosts. So a lot of synergy with that Haven Bravos Bastion. Now I'm a Haven Bravos Bastion enthusiast. It's one of my favorite cards in the game. I own like 9 to 12 foil copies. I'm not sure exactly how many, because for a while you played it in every Bravos deck, or at least every one that I built. Um, but a massive reserve right now
Yeah,
from
can I
Erlea.
say there's 3 data lists already in the reserve?
Yeah, that's actually impressive.
Yeah.
Um, but they're gonna have to get rid of some of them here at dusk. Um, at least one of them.
Yeah, decided not to actually play the data list. I mean, they could have played the data list and target one card from reserve to gain a boost instead of the snowman.
They could have. I think they were more interested in just adding more of these performance counters onto the Orok, getting the chance to high roll, get something busted coming out. And we're about to see after we place our mana what our high roll is going to be
Ooh.
on this Orok and
It's
Kibble.
always a gamble. You know how it is.
What's the best thing for them to hit right here, in your opinion?
Um, either I'm not sure what they're playing in their deck. Maybe they're playing Hydrocana. They could be playing Hydrocana.
Yeah,
They they could maybe my hypothesis, which could
that's
be
a good
pretty
one.
good.
I think
I'm not sure what
that
else.
they should hit a martingale. I think that's the best way to use Orok and Kibble's ability.
Hey, sometimes that one man, they gotta when something what if you
We see the martingale come out. That was a free 110
uh,
in stats that added a counter to Orok and Kibble. What an effect. What a powerful altered card we saw
yeah,
right
you
there.
should probably play the lottery tonight.
Look, I'm just speaking from my own personal experience playing this deck. This always happens. Why are we surprised? This is just peak Orok and Kibble experience. Uh,
And ooh, the sabotage to get rid of the last dataless.
Indeed, we do see that floor coming out. It gives them enough stats currently to contest on both sides. And right now, this Spirit Wielder would get a boost from the Haven and a boost from its own effect if they played it. So it would be a 2-3-4, which notably is not enough to advance on either side. So they need to have
Yeah.
another one cost card in hand. Um, Either an Isenboshi or a Fire Rabbit would do the trick. But I think they're wondering if they actually are going to get a little bit, I don't want to say greedy, right? Because they're ahead on the expeditions. Their Orok opponent just hit a kind of mid flip.
Ooh, Tracer.
We do see a Tracer coming out and a Siren Guard.
Just enough.
This is going to be interesting. So trading those expeditions again, but they're losing so much card advantage from this. They're
Yeah.
playing by the top of the top decks right now. They have to not even
Wow.
keeping the Siren Guard,
Not
wanting
even
the
for the
extra
draw.
token off of
Oh.
that Ortis Spy, I suppose,
Which
is
is
the better strat.
interesting. I think I would have kept I'm not sure. I mean,
I
I get
think
it. I get
I
it.
think right now they're pushing to try to win this turn.
Yeah.
But that can be really thrown off by this Aurochs ability. What do we think is gonna hit this time?
Suck it, Martingale.
I think it's gonna hit a spell. Okay.
Saren Gar.
Siren Guard. That's actually not the worst.
Yeah, that's
Um,
actually pretty good for them, actually.
it's notably interesting because it can go into this region where they could advance while their opponent has to put something on it. Their water stats not that high right now.
Yeah.
And they don't have a lot of water stats in general. They've used up all of their Datalises. All three of them are in the discard alongside a snowman and a Keytarist. I'm curious to see if they have any good water statistic characters in their hand. Otherwise, they might just end up with traditional Auroch blues of no
Yeah.
blues.
I mean, you also got a Spirit Wielder coming in. Oh, they decided to play on the other side, trying to probably even up the stats a little bit on both sides.
Yeah, it'll end up gaining 3 boosts, 2 from its own ability, 1 from the Haven, drawing that card, having 3 mana left to work with. This is definitely not an ideal situation to be in if you're Erleia here. Tanuki
Oh,
Unique
another
coming
Tanuki
out.
Neek.
Sabotage if you have a landmark on an arrow, but then additionally, you can put a card from your hand into your reserve if something other than itself fleeting or loses fleeting and gains
And
a
they want to
boost.
boost. That's good for the Spirit Wielder right there.
So they're gonna put all of their eggs in this basket, remove that fleeting from assumably the spirit wielder.
I would assume so,
Yep.
yeah.
And right now they're in a pretty comfortable spot, if I do say so.
Yeah, this is unless Arlea has Twinkle in hand and able to see the two Buddha and Spirit Wielder, it's gonna be I can't see a way for them to get out of this sticky situation.
What they need right here is something that they can have as a removal spell permanently for the spirit wielder.
Unless have another snowman in hand.
Snowman's good. X marks the
Oh,
spot.
Slark works too.
So this buys them a turn, right? Buys them a turn. They will still have access to this Tanuki, guaranteed. They know they're going to draw it because of where the X marks the spot put it. Um,
I'm curious why they didn't. I'm curious why they didn't go for the companion expedition instead.
I think they wanted to have grass and grass that they're contesting in so that they can just put the Siren Gar on the companion, then hope to draw some good water stats.
That's
Now we
fair.
do get to see a random flip. What do we got?
X
X marks the
marks the
spot for
spot for
free.
Can that target permanent? I don't think so.
It cannot.
It cannot target permanents.
Although one of the interesting things about Auroch is it's not a mandatory effect to use to play the spell. They still have the opportunity to play it here if they so choose. But with the way that the expeditions are currently lining up, I don't know if they'll have an opportunity to actually play it. List bassist coming down, or as I like to call it, cooler Easton Boshi.
Hey, hey.
I love Isan Boshi, but you cannot deny the drip that Bliss bassist has.
That's true.
Look
That's
at that
true.
outfit.
That
They
is
are shredding.
they are going at it.
Spirit Wielder coming out, putting a whole meat load of stats down. X marks the
On the
spot.
spot.
What's it
Yeah.
gonna mark? It's marking
Mm,
that Tanuki. Chiron comes out,
yeah.
gives self a boost, gets a boost from the Haven. I think this one's gonna be all wrapped up.
Oh.
Or maybe
Yeah, it's so wrapped up. I think they were hoping they were gonna put the boost
the
on
Spirit
Spirit
Wielder.
Wielder instead of distributing it on the
Yep.
Sharon instead.
It was close. That
Yeah.
Leia actually pulled that one way closer than I thought it would end up being.
That
Um,
was a good match.
it was definitely a good match. The two Auroch flips out of three being full on duds were rough.
It was all
Um,
Simon's fault.
Look, you can blame me all you want, but you live and die by the flip. That's all I'm saying. Just like Pogs. You know what Pogs are?
I have no idea what pogs are. Do I want to
I
know?
Now, there's something from the 90s. Spoiler alert, I'm not as old as people think I am. I'm barely a 90s baby.
The bear
Um,
what?
1999. I'm only
Oh.
26 years
I
old,
thought you were gonna
so
say I thought you were gonna say 1989.
yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. You think that I'm older than what I am.
No,
I
because
am
you said you were barely a '90s baby, so that's why I assume. Oh, so maybe you say 1989.
no 99, 10 years different.
89. Hey, I'm
No.
old.
Look, see, this is what everybody does. They hear how old I am and they immediately go, "I'm so old."
Yeah, I'm a little
Um,
old.
what table do you wanna hop into? I picked that
Um,
one.
I'm
Who
gonna
do you
go
wanna
table
curse with this
table
one?
9.
Table 9? Okay. Who is getting the misfortune of the caster curse now?
Someone said you're 65 years old.
65 years old, I would believe it. My friends sometimes call me Peepaw because I drive the speed limit, and I really like toffee as a candy.
You're just an old spirit. That's all.
I am definitely
Young
an old soul.
young body with old soul. That's
I
all.
don't know about the young body thing. I also feel like I could probably get in some trouble by saying things like that on the stream, even though it's my own stream. So I'm gonna do us a favor, not get us demonetized. Have any of you tried out some fun little chat commands recently? I think they're working still.
What check commands we got going
I
on?
think we still have Thank Simon in the chat. Do
Ah,
we?
yes, we do.
See, some of these blue setup, I thought they were working. Oh, they
They're
do.
working. They're
They do still
working.
work.
Yeah.
Got some fun chat commands.
There's one I did the other day and I got banned for like 300 seconds.
That's really funny. Was it the one where you called me a bootlicker?
No, it was when blue sucks.
On the game at hand, we have a Tasia against an Akesha. Now, historically, this is not a matchup that was favored for Akesha. for the longest time if the Tasia player had an early spindle. It made the removal a lot harder. But
I still think it's hard, only because there is floral tint in the set now, so
there is
does
indeed floral tint.
make it a little bit harder to remove things if they play it.
But you know what Akesha has that's really cool?
What?
A hungry, hungry hippo.
The hungry hippo. That is true.
And they
But
do have a turn set up to use it next turn.
yeah, I mean that spindle bashing is probably hindering them a little bit.
And this, man, that Baba Yaga is going to be brutal. Drawing an extra card, seeing another thing deeper, potentially, getting them closer to that hunger, which makes this matchup very favorable, but also taking that advancement on the companion side, making it so that their Kaibara counter is on equidistant from the tumult that their opponent's is.
Yeah,
Meaning that that's like the perfect time to play Hunger, right? This next turn is definitely the turn you want to see copies of the Hunger on. You're not at risk of getting double advanced on if they have a removal spell and losing because of it. They can still double advance, but it costs a lot of their resources, and you're still in a pretty comfortable
absolutely.
spot. And right now, they have the first player marker. So if they do have this hunger available to them and they just pull it off right now, that gives their opponent like one card to work with, right? Um just
Yeah,
because
essentially.
there's almost nothing they can do. Now, they're
Oh,
spending 2
yeah.
mana to play this Rhyme Frost, so it does not look like we will see a hunger come out this turn.
We
Tracking
haven't
down
seen
that aloe vera.
we haven't seen any hunger coming out the past couple games.
I know. I've been expecting it. And honestly, the fear of the hunger is almost as strong as the hunger itself, as
That
weird
is
as that is
true.
to say.
We do have a unique Kitsune coming in from reserve. Each player draws a card, which is not happening. But when another character joins your expedition, you control two or more boosted characters, you can anchor a hand cost 3 or less, other than me.
And unfortunately, that Lyra Thespian will cause that effect to trigger when it joins.
Oh yeah. And his own
Interesting.
effect too. He's gonna gain a boost as well, since there are two boosted characters.
Yeah, so lots of statistics coming down right now. Um, Thankfully, the Baba Yaga can contest on the companion side. So with a potential removal option, they're not in the worst of places, but
Oh, not a Baba Yaga.
the Baba Yaga from hand trying to draw a card, seek some stuff out. Oh no,
Oh
this is where
no.
things get really hairy. Let's read
Move
that
on.
Ogun.
All right. Let me see here. From anywhere, plans to control other than me gains one boost. From anywhere, if you control one more landmark, up to one target character with hand cost 3 or less other than me then gains anchor. This
Indeed. So if it was allowed to be played, the Akesha player did find a Rhyme Frost to tap it down. They would have set up a bit of an anchor chain between this Kitsune and Ogun.
oh yeah.
Ogun would have come in and been able to anchor that Kitsune with its anchor ability, then given a boost to that Spindle Harvester. But because it joined and there are two or more boosted characters, the Kitsune could have given anchor to the Thespian or the Ogun if they wanted to. Maybe try to keep it around with like some sort of pickup ability. Muna doesn't have a lot of those though, so not a huge usage for it. We do see the
Yeah.
second Baba Yaga from the reserve come out. Make sure they can at least advance once. Um, this is going to be an interesting turn here. It's going to be a very interesting turn.
I mean, the hunger play is still viable here, so it's not like it's over.
It's viable, but it is a little bit riskier. And the reason why is because this Kitsune can come out and immediately anchor the Spindle Harvester, which
That's
means
true.
that the floral tent would protect it from being removed by that hunger.
That is true. But I would also I will also say you could just play the hunger where the harvester is at.
That is true. The hungry, hungry, hunger. come down and wreak havoc. So we do see the Kitsune come out in an expedition that makes sense for it statistics wise. Chooses. Oh, it's
Yeah.
another character. It doesn't count for itself. So actually,
Yeah.
hunger is ridiculously strong here. But no hunger, just a Nylum Withered Tree activation off this exhaust from the Rhyme Frost. I think Rhyme Frost is one of the most underrated cards from Trial by Frost. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, it was quite popular before they fought in this nerf, but now after the post nerf, I would say not very viable for. I mean, I some people still play upon this Neelam, and I've always been anti Neelam.
So Belisenko unique coming out has an effect to exhaust a card in reserve, and if there's two or more exhausted cards in the reserve, makes the opponent discard a card from their hand. So they're able to exhaust their own Baba Yaga to make that discard effect trigger, which could potentially be a big deal for this Tasia. Getting rid of that Muna caregiver, and once again, they're going to play with an empty hand. Honestly, that seems to be the entire Muna strategy nowadays, if you can call it a strategy. They don't have a whole lot of hand advantage, and they never have. But it feels like more and more they have fewer and fewer cards to work with in their hand as compared to other factions. Um, which means that they just do less overall. We do have someone in the chat saying that the hunger is dead. That is true. If you read the lore article today, hunger died. We
I thought
quelled
I thought I
its.
thought Hunger got satiated.
No, I'm pretty sure
Oh,
we killed the hunger.
I thought Ysmir, Bravos, and Axiom were for the Hunger.
No,
I'm gonna have to double check now. I was reading that and I kind of like skimmed through
I
it.
think they were. I think they were against it, but I could be wrong.
Eradicate. Yeah,
Um,
you're right. You're absolutely right.
Interestingly enough, we see this studious disciple get played for potentially wanting to use the support ability on the following turn.
I would. I would. I guess so,
I Interesting
or
choice.
maybe not. I'm.
I don't think they needed to play that.
Yeah. Maybe they just stressed a little bit on time since there is a 10-minute, 11-minute difference between the two
That is
players.
true. The time differential can cause, you know, issues with how quickly you can play.
Absolutely. I mean, they do have the potential to double exhaust here, and it could trigger the Belasenka's ability with the. Oh no, that's only from hand. Never mind.
Yeah, if that Belisenko is in from anywhere effect, whew, eating good in the
Eating
neighborhood.
good. Absolutely,
You
but
an Applebee's fan?
I haven't eaten Applebee's in like 10 years.
Applebee's is a tradition on Tuesdays for me and my friends now. There's one next to our LGS. Um, we call it our podcast session. We had a podcast session last night. It was a good time. The only reason that we go there is because it's literally just right across the street to the point where we could walk to it if we wanted to. And after 9 o'clock, they got half price appetizers.
Oh,
So you can get boneless buffalo wings. You can get chicken quesadilla. You could get pretzel sticks. You could get loaded waffle fries. Neighborhood nachos. They are on the advertisement picture, but not half price during half price appetizers, and I think that's false advertising.
sounds like it is. I think you have a case.
I do. I think so too. But we do see this Muna caregiver being the first thing played for turn by our Asia player.
Now let's see
Akesha
what
still
this
had
guy's
that
in
after
hand.
you with a Dracana coming out. You know it would be absolutely nasty here?
That'd be a blizzard.
A
Blizzard
blizzard.
would be the perfect opportunity.
Although Blizzard does not exhaust the cards in the reserve, does it?
I think it does.
Regardless, it doesn't look like it's going to matter too much. We see a rare Katagiran Alchemist come down. The Alchemist has the ability to go over the top in statistics, and if we actually have a beauty sleep, they can pay the tough cost on the Spindle Muna Bastion and sleep that Spindle Harvesters and advance 1-0 and win the game. But
Oh,
see a Pomola,
do they
and I
maybe if they have a student disciple, if they didn't discard it from the last
if they
turn.
had a studious
There
disciple,
we go.
ah, they have the
And
disciple
disciple,
anyways.
yeah.
They built their own beauty sleep. So we'll see the Akesha take that advancement 1-0, end up beating Tasia without needing the hunger.
Yep.
Overrated card. Nobody should play it anymore. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
I think we
That thing
got
back where it came.
yep. Game of Acacia. Good game, Acacia.
Been some interesting games we've watched so far.
That's true.
We're
Nothing
only 2 rounds in.
nothing too staple, you know?
Well, what I'm interested in is we have two players that started off 2-0 that have now dropped from the event.
They just want to be 2-0 and just call it a day.
They want to be dream crushers, I suppose.
We do
Trying to
have
make
one more
sure,
table. Oh, never
trying to
mind.
make sure that less people can get qualified for our season 3 invitational. Um, for those of you watching that don't know, I would assume most of you know. If you go 5-1 in any AWOL event, whether it be a Monday or Wednesday, you get invited. You get a special role that lets you access a channel to register for the seasonal invitational. Seasonal invitational has 2 booster boxes worth of prizing. First place gets a full box themselves, so 36 packs. And second through 16th, they split that remaining box between them. Fully free event. You just have to qualify for it. And this season's seasonal invitational is happening not this weekend, but next weekend. It is on pre-release weekend, so I'm expecting a little bit lighter of a turnout than usual, but it should still be a pretty good time.
You know who got qualified for the season?
Who got
Simon?
qualified for this season, Gus?
I did.
You got qualified for this
I
season.
guess who's not showing up because who has pre-release that time?
Look, I get it. Support your
Yeah, I guess
LGS, support your locals.
that's for the locals.
I guess I can just remove the season 3 invitational qualified role then, huh? You won't
No,
care.
no, I need to talk trash still.
Okay, okay, I get it. You're gonna talk trash in the special chat, the private exclusive chat.
Yeah, it makes me feel exclusive.
So for the season 3 invitational, we do have 54 players registered for it out of about the 120ish that are qualified. So about half the players. Should be a good event. It's 8 rounds with a cut to top 16. So
Yeah, I did go to a table, Simon, as you were talking. It was like the very last table, and I it's going to be a little bit slower because I believe these are more recently new players.
yeah, no worries. We love having new players.
Yeah, and we always welcome them too.
Always. Always, always. So let's go ahead. I'll hop in. That way I don't have to ramble on. Um, we do see Sigismar with Messictet. That's a very interesting strategy. I got charges in their decks. Asia's playing some Kodamas and some Parvatis. These decks look sweet. I'm a fan.
Got a rare floral 10. You're able to anchor cards.
Yep. Rare
Ooh,
Floral Tent indeed. We do see a Hypothermia come out. We'll see if the Tasia player knows that they can just target their own Kodama.
because we'll find out.
At worst, they do the Caregiver, and it's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's just
But
everybody losing behind a mountain here, but you know
you don't want to just give the free wins, you know?
they
So they do
decided to
give it to
do
the
the
caregiver.
or the Kadama caregiver. Yeah,
So right now they just need one more grass and two more water to advance over their opponent.
come on, Muna, you can do this. You got two cards in hand, 3 mana. You got this.
Yeah, they do have quite a few options, that would do it. We do see this spindle harvester common, who's
Come
enough to go in
on.
grass.
Yeah.
Can they tie water or
That
go over the top?
I guess the only thing maybe like is snoozer shroom. Snoozer shroom. I either or.
Yeah, I'm interested to see because honestly, if they go to the next day, even if there's a Messick Tet in play, they're in like a not terrible situation with the stats. And a Requiem coming
Oh,
out, what are they going to discard? If they hit
that
that Rune Scribe,
that would be enough.
let's see what mode they pick. Are they going to pick the Messick Tet or the Rune Scribe? They pick the Rune Scribe, which is going to be enough for them.
Yeah, that's it. That's a GG. The Muna player wins.
GG. Well played to the Muna player. Looks like it was a fun match for both of them. Hopefully they're having a good time here with AWOL.
I hope so too.
But that does mean that we're bringing ourselves to round number 3.
Round three.
Let's check out table 2.
Ooh. All right. We got Bruiser versus Rhubarb here.
Now we have Mbruza, after you Mbruza versus KRA Rhubarb. Two players that are longtime players for AWOL. Um, really happy to see them continue to stick around and play. We always like seeing players that are regulars, consistent, because that's what the server is for. Making those connections through Altered, getting that local gameplay experience without having to go to an LGS.
And Bruiser, what are you playing? You're supposed to be a Muna player. What is this?
We do see a Fen versus Kojo matchup. Now, I really like both of these decks. I'm a big fan of both Fen and Kojo. Played them both a lot in Season 1. Played them a decent amount in Season 2. Haven't done a whole lot here in Season 3 with Whispers. I've been really busy traveling, running events, whole lot of things. So I'm curious to see how both these players approach this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it really depends if M. Bruiser is trying to do like a mess plus Haven setup.
Yeah, and we do see probably one of the strongest openers possible for Kojo, having access to the turn one Haven with a Tiny Jin and just trading expeditions while still setting up for one of your Kojo turns is about one of the strongest things that you can do in the deck.
Absolutely.
And if the Fen decides to go for anchor play on this Aloe Vera, it opens themselves up to like a weird mana eruption line that doesn't even lose the Bravos player any like mana, and they get a double advance just because that Tiny Jin has so much utility on its ability. And it looks like that might be what they're setting up for. They're at least going to run out this Tiny Jin, put the stats on the companion side or on the hero side. We do see that Aloe Vera come out on the Canyon side.
There it
Look, I
is. Called it.
mana eruption.
And
I
an
feel like
eruption.
we smashed up once or
I
twice.
think I think Ambrusa probably has everything they need in their hand here. Starting off very strong with the Haven, Fire Rabbit, cheap cause. You got the Tiny Jin ready to be
Yep.
back to mana. It's
Now
brutal.
it is brutal. They do get this double advance and puts them solidly and squarely 2 expeditions ahead. I will say though, they're setting up not as much as what the Fen player is going to have access to. They're gonna be about a card and a half down, maybe even cards actually, now that I'm looking at it, if they decide to mana here. And the Fen, although that Taduki doesn't really do a whole lot in the reserve, Ben plays things to pick up cards from the reserve, be it sleight of hand, different uniques that can pick them up. So this Tanuki could find its way back into the hand, and we see no mana chosen from our Kojo
Interesting.
player. You know what that tells me? I got a soul read. They have a Mighty Jin in their hand, and they're just gonna play it this turn.
Probably. We do have a Tinkerbell though, which is a very clean one. Unique Tinkerbell. We just sabotage from anywhere. That's it.
Ugh, that's my favorite line of text.
Sorry,
Arrow Sabotage.
it does have a support ability where you do discard to make a spell cheaper by one. But regardless,
Arrow
clean.
Sabotage is my favorite ability line in the game, more so than Arrow Draw a card. Something about Sabotage is just like my favorite thing to do in the game. Um, we do see this acapella training come out, and it's gonna look real awkward if there's a physical training.
Oh, that's almost equally as awkward. But Fire Rabbit.
Now the Fire Rabbit does come out, give a boost to this Tiny Gen. I don't know though. They're still down really hard on cards.
That's true.
Didn't they did get an advance. They traded expeditions. So they're one step closer to getting to where they need to be. And because that Tiny Gen was there, they didn't technically go down on cards. But they're in a position now where they either mana and go to 2 cards with 6 mana to work with while their opponent has an acapella training, or they don't mana and they keep 3 cards and 5 mana. It's just a real awkward situation. I think their best case scenario here is hoping to have like a rare physical training. Siren Guard's not bad either because it'll
That's
still get
true.
a draw off of this acapella training. Um, but I'm curious to see. This Fen deck is really aggressive with its sabotages. We haven't seen a whole lot of the WCQ performing decks recently for Fen play a whole lot of sabotage. But this Tinkerbell Arrow Sabotage, Common Tanuki, and Rare Little Mouse is they're targeting reserves and targeting them hard, it looks like.
Yeah, I wonder reasons for that. Are they trying to I don't play Fen as much. So maybe they're trying to think of like countering decks like this against like Kojo decks, or maybe Trist decks if they have too much resupply in the reserve.
Yeah, it's it's interesting. Here comes
Oh,
that rare physical training. Going on to the Haven Sirengar.
do you sabotage the physical training now, or do you just wait till the next day to sabotage the Serengar?
I think the physical training is not doing anything right now, but you've already given up the card advantage. And Kojo's in a spot that like they're probably really comfortable with now because they're gonna see a lot of cards next turn, no matter what you do. We do see an Anansi come out, getting their stats higher. I almost wonder if they have an off you go.
Oh, it's
Otherwise, they
very
would have probably
possible.
put it on the other expedition.
I'm ah, off you
No,
go.
off you go. Now Fenn's gonna have to make a really tough decision here. They're gonna have to pick what cards they're gonna keep in their reserve.
Yeah,
Um,
what do you keep? Maybe the little mouse and the Anansi. Yep, never mind.
yeah, I'm curious to see if they just immediately play the Anansi as a 2 mana 4/4/4, and then just Little Mouse whatever thing that Kojo doesn't play. Um, I don't think that's a terrible play. Um, I've seen worse, I should say.
I mean, I guess it depends what they have, what they're gonna resupply to, right? Oh, they resupply the Hatter.
Yeah, how to resupply is pretty strong here. They do just immediately opt to go for the little mouse first, taking out that Siren Guard, hoping that they'll hit some sort of
Oh,
character
red.
light hand from the Kojo.
I've been seeing red becoming slightly more popular in like Kojo decks. I don't know why.
So it's specifically for the traced matchup. Um, Red matches a lot of traced statistics early on for cheap, which is good. But Red with physical training, Trace does not play any hard removal options right now. So they don't really have a good way to get rid of like a mid game red that has a physical training put on it that then becomes a 2 mana 5/5/5 from the root. So
Yeah.
it's more of a traced tech than anything else. Bravos doesn't have a whole lot of like 2 drop 2/2/2s outside of Chiron, or at least great ones. They do have a
Yeah.
lot of good 2 drops, but sometimes it can be hard to get those like even statistics without having like a downside, such as the Bravos Tracer, which gains fleeting. We do see the Anansi come out, having enough stats to contest on this Isamboshi.
Oh, there's a
Bravos
tracer.
Tracer.
Oh, you just mentioned that a second ago.
Yeah. It's just such a weird spot though for the Fen because no
Yeah,
matter if they have character or removal, this physical training going to just
overcome one side or the other.
yeah, and Ouroboros Inkcaster, great card. Picking up Hatter is not that great of an effect right here.
No, it's something you don't want to do. I mean, it's option. Caster is optional, so
Um, so we do see the Hatter anchoring Anansi. Makes sense. Highest statistics possible.
trying to
Keeps it
block
in
off
that
the Buddha
range.
as well.
But
And
Kaibara counter for Kojo is going to be at 0, while it'll be at 2 for our Fen player.
it's just I've Bruce just been going at it straight from the gate, the nonstop. I'm a little bit awestruck a little bit. 'Cause he just did not he's just not stopping.
It
He
is
just
Ben, the little engine that could with Kojo, and that is one of the reasons why I like that hero. After taking that 2-0 expedition lead on turn 2 of the game, the gas pedal has not been let off, and they
yeah.
have advanced equally with the Fen both turns, and now they're in a position where they're like threatening a win on this turn and not in danger of losing themselves on this.
I know they just resupplied to dual grit as well. Perfect card for the situation.
Yeah, and I think notably the best thing that they had though was that Haven Bravos Bastion play here. Specifically because if you think about it in the context of what the statistics bring to the board, Haven Bravos Bastion is when you have two cards in your reserve, a 2 mana, 2/2/2 character, if both of the characters in your reserve are characters, basically. Because each one of them is going to gain a boost. And it has extra utility further on throughout the game. And it has that powerful resupply loaded onto it too, meaning that you have a lot of different actions that you can take on your turn. Now, I'm curious to see what our Kojo player goes for. They only have 5 mana available. They could run out every single card from the reserve if they choose to, but I'm not quite sure that's a strong play, specifically because you want to make sure you have cards in your reserve to take advantage of these havens. I did
Yeah.
say that they provided stats, but they only provide stats when you play the characters from your reserve. If you're not playing characters from your reserve, they aren't doing a whole lot. And that's why you see a lot of those leave the expedition sabotage effects happening right now are like ticking up in popularity because it lets you answer cards going to the reserve proactively. So it lets you answer a card that your opponent plays later on in the turn, even if you weren't aware of them playing it. They used to not see a whole lot of play, but I'm excited to see that recent metagame development and see how they've been ticking up.
I honestly I kind of didn't like it at first, and when I have a Subash deck going on where Subash, Subhash, I don't want to say Subash, Subhash deck going on where I have a shortage supervisor where it says when I leave expedition zone, sabotage, and it's been quite powerful in a lot of situations, especially when it goes against Triss and not helping build up their counters. So I can understand the popularity of when I leave their exposition zone sabotage.
We do see this Bravos Pathfinder from hand coming out. I think if I'm the Kojo player, I'm just going to put this red onto the hero expedition and force the
Absolutely.
opponent to have two characters that can stop the red and my hero and my companion expedition, or a character and a spell that can stop them.
Yeah. I mean, the only way if Brutus does play the red on the hero expedition, I think the only way that Rhubarb gets out of this is they play Twinkle Twinkle first, and then reduce the cost for another Twinkle Twinkle, or off you go.
And that is definitely a line. It's a line that's pretty strong. Uh, but I'm not sure if it would be strong enough.
Guess we'll have to see and what Bruiser decides to do here.
Out of all of the Bravos heroes, do you have a favorite, Gus?
I I I I I like Kojo. I mean, Kojo got me my tumult this set, so I like Kojo. Um, if I had to rank between the 3 Bravos heroes, I would say Kojo, Astadi, and then Basira. Not that this don't like Astadi or I mean Basira or anything like that, but I could never get a good rhythm with Basira, and I feel like I mean, personally, maybe 'cause I haven't messed around with Basira that much, but the include option line is just like the feel like it's the only option line for Basira, and I don't really like it that much.
Yeah, I think that's understandable. I think that all the Bravos heroes feel distinctly different while being able to use core cards in unique ways.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so I think that's one of the cool parts of the faction. Um, I felt the same way about Ortis for a long time. Um, because each one of them had a unique ability that worked around tokens. Um, but no longer is that the case after Waru was
Who?
changed. Yeah, Waru who? War
Wow,
who?
wow,
Congrats to Mbruza though, taking the W with Kojo, starting off their tournament
oh,
3-0. Looks like they also have another teammate, Gamma Knight, at 3-0 in this tournament. That's exciting to see.
yeah, yeah. You wanna go to table 11?
Yeah, we can go to table 11. We've got
Oh, this is an interesting matchup here.
a Tasia versus a Traced, and this Tasia, that is a massive Grand Bois. Oh my gosh.
How did they I'm looking at their, this card, I'm like, "Huh? How did this happen?"
It's Traced. Traced
I Trace
resupplies and
Trace
draws
is Trace is
so
like,
many
it's like,
cards.
"I don't care. I'm just going to do whatever I want at this time." Yeah, that's, I'm sure if Call C does, he'll be very happy.
Wow.
I mean, they're still not super heavy on the ocean terrain here on the hero expedition, so they could definitely lose that side. I mean, yeah.
With the Kelon cylinder being able to give a boost, I think it's more than likely that they will lose that side. But the Quetzalcoatl being currently anchored and stick around for the next turn too, that's gonna be something that might be hard for them to deal with. I mean, so we just talked in this past match, right? Oh, Persephone. That's a cool
Ooh,
card here.
yeah. I mean, remember we talked about earlier about how you've been seeing the rare grams versus the common grams, and then just for that one extra stat there, and I think that one extra stat is going to be beneficial for them if they choose to do grams this turn.
Chat is saying they can't see the game. I can see the game now. Hopefully they can see it too.
Yeah,
Um,
I forgot to swap it, guys. I'm sorry. I noticed it before anyone said anything. So it happened.
all right. So we do see the pass come out from Tasia. Trey still has some mana to work with if they want to. They have no cards currently set up in the reserve, and is a deck that can play from the reserve through a lot of different ways. I'm curious if they choose to play a card here, even though they're advancing and trading expeditions, just to get something down there that might have a beneficial reserve effect.
Yeah, maybe like a Keylon Elemental. I guess not.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they opt to do so though. Just trading expeditions on the tumult, and I gotta tell ya, this Quetzalcoatl could be hard to deal with. It's gonna make a token here. Trace's ability is gonna make a token again, and if they want to see any other cards, they're gonna make another token. And this is like one of the reasons why we just talked in the last match about Red seeing more play with physical trainings and Kojo as a pseudo traced answer. Quetzalcoatl does a pretty good job as well because they don't have ways to hard remove it traditionally. Now,
Right.
that's not to say that this player isn't going to have the opportunity to play those remove spells. Most of the Trace players we've seen have opted to only play a couple spells, usually your Frozen Deliveries and your Hooked, which is a soft removal spell, but nothing that actually permanently answers a character.
Yeah, I I never seen we never seen the person play before, so they could have an avalanche or a boom or something to answer the quest here, or a unique that could do it. But if they're playing more likely standard Chris deck, this Quetzy is gonna be a very difficult card for them to go through.
And we do see a Foundry mechanic being put into the reserve by the Traced player. Kellan Elemental coming down, putting another card into the reserve. I almost wonder if they're trying to stack a reserve for like a big Anansi play here.
Possible. They decided to put in the even bash it down.
Yeah, Haven Bastion coming out. This Foundry mechanic unique doesn't really look like it's going to do a whole lot on this board. It has potential to draw a card, which is nice, but the statistics comparatively for the effect isn't the best. Um, and there's no token in play to gain that extra ability when played from the reserve. And we
Oh,
see a
there's another
Grand Bois
wall.
coming
Another one.
down. Another Bois,
Another wall.
forcing, ideally, I'm assuming, the opponent to draw a card.
And honestly, when it comes to Triss, you don't really mind them drawing cards like that because a lot of times their hand cost is much bigger than their reserve costs.
So Embruza in the chat had a question. How does a player have only one elo? So what happens is elo is gained by playing games through both arena and I believe regular gameplay.
Yep,
I could be wrong though.
you're
But
right.
if you play your first game and then lose, or in you play it in a tournament like this setting that you are invited to, because players without 100 elo can't join public tournaments, but they can join private tournaments. If you lose, you'll still gain an elo, but you won't ever go below what you've gained until you get to 100. So
Yeah,
if you've only lost games, you'll stick at 1. Um, but once you climb your way up to 100, you can't go below 100, and you can't go below any of those other middle ground territories. So usually it's just somebody who's a little bit newer to the game, which is great. We love new players coming into Altered.
yeah,
Maybe it's a good player that just doesn't play on BGA. They're playing for the first time. Um, we are happy to have anybody here playing in the AWOL tournaments.
absolutely. And looks like
Oh
another
man,
card daughter drawing cards,
this is crazy.
buffing
This
up both
Tasia, I
sides.
love this list.
I had a similar list with Arjan, but it didn't really work out super well for me.
It's similar to what I tried making work with Arjun and Beyond the Gates meta. We do see a Gibble common just being hard played here. If this Asia has a beauty sleep, that would be disgusting.
It would be.
Did they just happen to draw into a beauty sleep off the daughter of Yggdrasil?
But
Find
we'll
out
find
next
out.
time on AWOL Z.
I'm rooting for the Muna player, but they do have to they're gonna have to get rid of something from reserve if they don't anchor or sleep something here. They
Oh
do play
my
the beauty
god.
sleep, but are they gonna beauty sleep their own quets here? Or are they gonna beauty sleep the Gibble?
Beauty sleeping the Gibble has to be the play, at least in my opinion. Yeah, that was an absolutely nuts, and I mean nuts, draw off of that Daughter of Yggdrasil. I don't think you could have asked for a better sequence there, right?
Yeah,
Like,
there's no way. Able to double advance both sides here. Gonna have a beefy Grand Ball. Probably will not be disrupted whatsoever.
well, the important thing is that Granbois is in the opposite expedition as the Sleeping Gibble.
That's
So
true too.
the fact that they don't even have to like put anything on that hero side and can just stack the companion side is gonna be really interesting to watch play.
And the Muna player is gonna be first here, so they could play the Quets again.
Now I'm curious.
Punishing the Triss player for doing their job here.
I'm curious what Muna will decide to do here. Those are the two that I would have opted to keep as well. I like
Yeah.
those choices. It lets them have a line where they have like two one drops in their hand or like a three drop. They can mana one. If they don't want to mana, if they're like worried about a sabotage effect, they can go like 3/3/2. I think that like not manaing unless you only have three drops in hand is what I would do because then it's still the same thing.
All right. They decided to not drop anything.
Yep. We'll see if they drop this Quetzalcoatl. It's it has to be just the best play here in my opinion, because Trace is always going to use their ability, and you're then getting 4/4/4 worth of stats instead of 5/5/3 basically.
Yeah.
And if they have just any extra resupply, like if they choose to play this Haven, that's another token, so then it's 5/5/5 versus 5/5/3.
The only thing that the when the player has to worry about a tiny bit is hooked. Hooked could definitely be a game breaker for them.
Yeah, hooked could be nasty. That's one of the reasons why I considered a beauty sleep keep in the reserve instead of the daughter of Yggdrasil, just because getting this Gibble would be helpful. But man, these Ordis recruits are just gonna come down. We do see the Dr. Frankenstein come out, getting that effect, giving a boost to something itself.
Yeah, I wonder if you only if you would be stacking up everything in one lane here, but I guess they are.
Stacking everything in one lane here, I think, is just better. There's no reason to really put anything on the other side because these Keylon cylinders can just put stats on the Gibble. So you would have to commit at least 8 worth of stats over there. And I'm not sure if that's like the best option that they have available to them. But we just have to see what their hand is, you know. A lot
Yeah.
of our commentary is just based off of opinions or just assumptions. We don't really know what the players have access to, so we can't really say for certain.
Do no Keylon Elemental, Salvager. I guess would you want to resupply? Maybe trying to fish something out here.
So the resupply from the Luna merchants, great here. But the resupply from the Haven is offset. You'll get two boosts from Salvager and Elemental.
Yeah, but now you're boosting up the
I
Grand Bois, throwing
yeah,
another token down.
because the Grand Block can't even be hooked over. It does nothing, right? Like you can
Yeah.
play the Grems here and get like more stats by sacrificing the cylinder, but like you're still super far behind. You'd have to have like a 2 mana Axiom removal spell, like
Yeah.
hard removal spell that answers Grand Blois.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it doesn't look like they
Yeah.
will. We see this like this really cool Tasia build of Grand Bois, Daughter of Yggdrasil, and Quetzalcoatl take the win over Trace. A little bit of an anti-meta like
Yeah.
coming in.
I respect it. I respect it.
I respect it too. We got another question from chat coming in. Does Simon have a little bit of PTSD over slash mute comments? Not as much as you would think. Uh, slash mute is dead, and group 4 is alive. So
Long live Group 4.
long live group 4. So we have
We are on round 4 now.
round 4 coming up. Can I say that I want to watch
Yes.
table 1?
We can watch table 1.
Table 1 is where I want to be for this game.
I forgot. I think we've seen one of these plays before, but I don't remember what they were
We
playing.
saw Embruzo, we did not see Gamma Knight. I don't think we've seen either of them.
Oh wait,
Unless this was the Akesha we saw in round 1.
this is the Kesha we saw round 1.
No, it's not, because it
No, it's
was
not. Oh
Kara
no, no,
Tsuchika.
we saw a Kesha, but not this Kesha.
Yeah. So we are going to see Akesha versus Fen. Two slower decks. It's going to be fun watching how these players navigate this matchup and see what they prioritize on whether they're focusing on like early little chip damage or if they're going to go for like big blows in the late game. I could see it going either way.
Yeah, this is like I would say this is kind of like an even match. I think it really depends what they got in their hand, what Fen resupplies. If the Akesha player is playing any hunger, that would be good to have. I'm gonna get some water real quick, Simon. So
I
you
had to turn my fan off. It was getting cold in here for me. We do see our players have their mana down. Akesha starts with an after you, forcing the Fen player to play first. Running out that Haven Sirengar rare, not the most common of plays, and we see a Category and Alchemist rare on that expedition to kind of counteract its statistics. And the Alchemist rare is something that's been fallen out of favor a little bit recently, but I really like the card. Being a 3 mana 4/4/4 from hand that acts as like a 1 mana after you from reserve that also puts stats into play is something that I find really strong.
I think
Um,
Rare Alchemist is gonna be more prevalent. It's just it's too I mean, as you know, Yasmir doesn't have a lot of strong bodies, and having a 3 call for 4/4/4, it's it's kinda hard to say no to.
Yeah, it's tough because like rare slots in this game are such a valuable commodity. And there's a lot of really good rare upgrades that Akesha specifically can play. But I totally get the vision. We do see this Haven Sirengar immediately coming out, getting those extra boost from plated in reserve. Having the opportunity, to draw them a card.
And we got Neelam. Probably not a good matchup for Fen if it's is a Neelam style deck.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this matchup goes from here. We do see the Inkcaster coming out. It's going to nullify the advantage from turn one that our players had with that Category and Alchemist. I'm curious to see if they'll use the effect to pick up the Hathor, or
I
if they
would
want to
assume
just.
not. No.
I feel like it's almost worth it though to play, knowing that like the expedition is mountain on the hero side. You can put the Hathor as a 2 mana 3 and mountain on that side, and there's also that grass expedition now on the companion side. I think if I were them, I would pick it up. But that's just me.
I think I'll pick it up too now because I just remembered that you are going against a Neelam player. So your reserve is also extra targeted.
Yeah, your reserve is not safe anymore. It belongs to us. Something interesting to note is that both of these players are playing in Brazil.
Oh, oh no. There I wonder if this is like a way for say, hey, you're from Brazil. Maybe let me recruit you to my Brazilian team.
Brazil did just have their WCQ on Sunday.
Yeah,
I heard there was a really fun event. They had 42 players.
that's
Had a lot of
good.
people travel.
42
Yeah,
players.
had a
Wow.
lot of people travel to the event that they weren't sure that even existed. So I heard that it was cool. I'm really happy to see the Brazilian scene start to pop off a little bit.
That's good. That's great. I mean, little by little, we'll gain momentum, right?
Yeah, that's how Altered's gonna work. Momentum, getting that built up community is so important for the game.
Yeah.
But we do see a resupply from the Fen, getting a magical training. Not the most ideal resupply candidate, but if they do end up playing this Hathor, they'll be able to pick it up and use it again on a future turn, or maybe they have already something to pick up this magical training.
Oh, two fairy. I'll be getting rid of the Inkcaster.
Yep, Tooth Fairy comes out, gets rid of the Inkcaster. I feel like the best play, yep, is just to play the Hathor, contest on that side.
So maybe after you see what a defense player does. It's interesting to see two fairy though because you are going for a exhaust thing, but I can understand having a little bit of sabotage just to
Sometimes
get
you
rid
need
of
to
some offensive
permanently
characters.
answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Some players find it counterintuitive, but I get it. You see a Nazi here with 333. They have another alchemist in hand. It'd be the perfect time to play it.
Nancy comes down. I mean, it doesn't even have to be an alchemist.
Yeah, it could be
It
off you
could be
go.
it could be anything that triggers their Nihilum as a character. So Pomola does not trigger the Nihilum. It does get them over in stats. They have to play this Alchemist too. Just makes sense. They would be losing it to their reserve anyways. So they get the traded expeditions here. And Fen is going to have to pick one of these cards to get rid of. I would
Yeah.
have to imagine that it's the magical training, unless they don't have a whole lot of card selection otherwise. Then they maybe use Hathor to pick it up afterwards, but it's tough because Anansi's your power card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to mention as well. This is something I don't see often, and I know I've been saying that a couple times already, but rare Pomola. Rare
Yeah.
Pomola just for the stats. Like you said earlier, it's hard. There's so many good rare cards to put in. It's such a hard thing to choose what to put in for your rare slots. And then there's a Kesha player using a rare slot for a rare Pomola. I mean, it's
Indeed.
beneficial for those stats. So you get extra water, extra forest, same expense as a common, and same support ability.
So opting to not get the Anansi's bonus effect and using the Hathor to pick up a magical training resupplied instead.
I mean, can you blame them? I mean, their reserve is like candy for the Kesha player.
I almost wonder if that was what you were going to do. Would it have been better to discard the Anansi instead? I don't know. I really don't know.
I think I'm not sure what the oh, then it's Kesha's turn. Never mind. I was like thinking myself, like, would Fen want to play magical training, or do they want to wait until the Kesha player is done using certain cards so they don't get exhausted and then the moth doesn't come out? That's true, or Leia. It does have the same stats as Baba Yaga. Very much.
Yeah, the thing with Baba Yaga though is you like playing it from reserve. Pomola, sometimes you're going to use that support ability for the effect. So the two extra stats are about half effectiveness as the Baba Yaga. So just it's food for thought. I'm not sure how much it actually comes into play, and if this player chooses to play it more than they use the ability. Um, but we have seen rares be played for less effects, so I can get behind stat increases on rares, and that's your choice for it.
I mean, it's working for them. They're undefeated, right? So
Hey, you are absolutely right.
I'm not up there undefeated. I'm here and behind the screen.
One of my
Oh,
favorite ever type of cards coming out here, a unique Aku.
unique Baku. When I leave the expedition zone, target opponent cards discard. Oh my god, I just had a brain. My brain just like went from to the moon and it's not coming back anytime soon. Let me restart that again. When I leave the expedition zone, target opponent discards a card from their hand, and then from hand draw a card. Very basic, clean Baku. I mean, the only thing could be cleaner is if it had it from anywhere, just discard. My brain still going back.
Yeah, so I love Aku as a card. I love making opponents discard cards.
Yeah,
You see,
I wish we would get more of that, honestly.
it's like my favorite thing to do in any card game.
That
You
is
wanna know why?
yeah.
You wanna know my favorite thing to do in any card game is making my opponents discard cards? Because then they have less choices to think about, and then they can't play slowly and go to time. My least favorite thing in card when my opponent takes up time on the clock thinking that they shouldn't be playing. And honestly, altered players are notoriously terrible for it. Get rid of their decisions, take those decisions away from them, don't make them have decision paralysis. The games go way faster. That's why I
Hey,
like discarding
I,
cards.
I'm all for hand disruption. Okay, listen, Simon, you want to talk to Equinox? I know you're shilling for them. They give you $6,000 euros a month or something like that. Listen, you tell them, hey, we need more hand disruptions. I'm all down for it. I'm all for it.
I think early on in development, Baku was an arrow discard from what I've heard.
Oh,
Or the common. I would have to double check because I'm not 100% certain.
for the comment, that would be crazy.
Yeah, there've been different things. Um, I don't know. I have strong card game opinions. They don't line up with everybody else's strong card game opinions. So
Ooh.
I try not to share them until I get a pedestal. But I'm glad that we have some people that agree with me that players take too darn long to play games of Altered, and they
I
just
agree.
simply need to
Yeah,
play faster.
yeah, I agree.
Going to time in a 30-minute in-person best of one is terrible. Play faster, please.
Blame with the goal rank players.
It's sometimes the Ghoul players, but I've seen some players take forever. But it is what it is. Can't control it. We do see this Magpeng Hoarder common coming out because it was played from hand. It doesn't get to double dip. It'll get that fleeting immediately and just be a budget Bravos tracer here. Um,
Budget, bro. I love it.
but it is right.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. They did decide to play the Alchemist on that side, which is hmm,
It's an interesting choice, um, because now the Fen can almost. Huh, interesting. I agree.
I feel like they could have. I feel like they should have competed it. Competed the other side.
I don't know. I
Were they afraid of some removal, some disruption from the defend player?
maybe maybe they were afraid of getting double slept and double advanced on because that was a world where the Twinkle Twinkle could come out and be pretty devastating. Um, but I don't know.
Chess clocks are the answer. You know how many times I hear chess clocks in other card games, and
Chess
no one ever does it.
I think chess clocks are great, but they are impossible to implement on a large scale level in person. The logistics of getting a 20 to 40 player tournament, let alone, a WCQ that's got 60 plus, or, Milan this weekend is sold out at 256. Getting chess clocks implemented for those players, it's going to be a challenge to say the least. We do see this Rhyme Frost coming out, probably going to target down, if I had to guess, the statistic character here, which is that penguin.
Yeah,
Um, but I guess they could just pick it back up with,
yeah, that's true.
the sleight of hand. So it makes sense. Getting two Nylum triggers off that, only choosing to use one yet. So it almost makes me wonder if they have extra access to effects, or if they're just going to choose to play out like both Baku and Alchemist and Rhyme Frost.
Oof.
See a comment in the chat. Opponents would take 5 minutes wondering what to discard if we had more Bakus. If they have one card in hand, they can't think that long on a discard. You just call a judge. And that's why we need more hand destruction. Honestly,
Exactly.
make it so that it's an effect that they don't get to pick which card they discard. Make it so that you get to pick at random from your
Yeah,
hand. That's even better.
that's what I'm waiting for. Is like, why can't I choose at random?
Discard a card at random. Make it
Yeah,
put it in like Lyra because it's at random, and make a Ysmir out of faction. Ooh,
I would love
I
it.
would be all for it.
I would love it.
Do see, that Amale coming down, putting a real damper in the strategy of Akesha.
Yeah.
There's so many stats on both sides that they can't really contest for. And the Baku causing the discard here when there's 4 cards in hand is a lot less like equitable than other effects, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Unless they have a Pomola in hand here or something. They
a
do.
Rhyme Frost
Oh, Ryan
targeting their
Frost.
own Rhyme Frost, you know? I've
Yep.
seen crazier plays, getting that extra Nihilum,
They do
pushing them
advance.
over.
So I mean, it works. It works, right?
Hey, yeah, I cannot judge it.
This is why they didn't trigger both trees at once.
Look, I am all for putting Dirty Rat from Hearthstone into Altered. That card is great. Card's so fun. I bet you were a Mechathune player. I got you sussed out, Runefolk. You seem like you would have played Mechathune. Anyways, we have Akesha choosing not to mana, keeping both their cards that they
Oh,
have access
oh,
to.
whoa there,
Whew, lot
whoa.
of gold coming out of
That
this
is,
deck right
yeah. What do we
now.
got? We got a croupier at dust, roll a die, 4+, draw a card, otherwise resupply. And then from anywhere, roll a die, 4+, you may bounce a spell from reserve back to your hand. Then you got a Kappa, which not that useful because it only has a from hand ability where you could return a card from reserve back to your hand. But it does have a support ability where you may return a spell from reserve back to your hand. So
Some interesting uniques. I'm curious to see if we'll see the Amale just come out and eat up the Sinansi, draw a card. Maybe the Kappa too. It's not really doing much here.
yeah.
Discard 2, draw 2 seems pretty strong. I almost wonder if I would have discarded the Croupier too to get an extra card versus the boost. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You can't really have cards in reserve at the moment only because if you do, the Akasha player is going to take advantage of that.
and I've found my people in this stream chat. All these old head Hearthstone players from the golden days. I love it. OTK, Death Knight Paladin, Nil Rogue with Kingsbane. Bringing me back to the good old days. If it's a shock to anybody, as somebody who plays Kojo pretty exclusively, I played a lot of even Shaman and Odd Paladin, even in Wild. Um, so that shouldn't be a surprise to the people that know how those decks function in comparison to Altered. Um, but we do see the Snowball Commando coming out. Funnily enough, exhausting the Rhyme Frost.
Oh, the
Kind of shutting
sleep.
down some plays. Beauty Sleep is going to sleep this Amale. Hope that they don't have another thing to play on that side so they don't have to Beauty Sleep it again. But they do.
Yeah, this is not something you want to see here. This is kind of rough for the Kesha player.
I mean, if the Akesha player has simply a 2-cost character in hand,
They do.
which they do, we have one heck of a game on our hands, don't we, right now?
Oh man, it's decided not
Oh,
to beauty sleep
no.
it.
They didn't beauty sleep the
I wonder.
contortionist?
Yeah, I wonder.
Oh no. I
I'm not sure that was a mistake or that's just like, hey, I don't want that many stats on the board.
I don't know. I want to say it was a mistake. But I can't say for sure, because like the stats don't matter, right? You
Yeah.
have literally top deck is all you're hoping for right now, right? You're
Yeah.
trying to get 2 cards from the top of your deck. If you had like that beauty sleep and then could have followed it up with like a well, they probably don't play hunger because they have their own Nilums and it eats those. I don't know. It's just tough.
Maybe
And that
yeah, I mean
Twinkle
with
Twinkle.
5 cards in hand and everything like that, even with
Oh
a
my
hunger it'd
god.
be a crazy play to do.
Crazy play indeed.
I don't see this Akesha coming out alive, but I've seen worse things.
I have two. With this current board state, it definitely looks pretty scary for them. Interested to see what their options are here from hand. because they were two random cards off the top. They weren't cards that they curated, you know. Tooth Fairy coming down. Okay, you gonna hit
I'm assuming the Twinkle Twinkle. No, never mind. The
Aloe
Aloe
Vera.
Vera. Yeah, I thought this is gonna be. I think this is gonna be game over for the Kesha. I don't know what else you have in your hand here, but
Acapella training coming down, meaning that they get to have the final say on everything,
yeah.
is pretty game over with how the expeditions are lined up. Because they'll be able to play the contortionist, they'll be able to play the commando, and they'll be able to twinkle twinkle all on the same turn.
You know what? I was gonna say something crazy and wild, but they don't have the mana for it. The Kurokami.
How would Man in the Maze work here too?
Mana Maze would work here too. No, I don't think Mana Maze goes down to 6, does it?
You're
No, it
right.
does. I think it does go down to 6 for like rare for
There's only
uniques.
5 boosts to eat currently though, right?
Uh, yes. There's only 5 boosts to eat.
Simon played Hunter Taker and Naxxramas. Fun fact, I did not play during Nax meta. I played in beta and then I did other things and took a break until we got to um, Main Streets meta, and that's when I joined back in after a few years. So I played Pirate Warrior, which is arguably just as bad. I played Aggro Shaman. With the spirit claws and the tunnel trog and faceless shaman or flame wreath faceless. um all the aggro decks in Hearthstone, they spoke to me and they spoke dirty things. I just love going face in Hearthstone. It's like my favorite thing. um and it's what I like doing in every card game too. I'm a mono red player in Magic. I always play aggro in every game that I'm in. I don't like going to time. This is what it all comes back
I
to.
think Simon says he doesn't like to think.
I no. That is the aggro decks are the thinking man's deck. Honestly, people don't realize it. Um, Lots of interesting things that happen in Hearthstone, especially with aggro decks. We do see this rare Baba Yaga come down. Martingale go down on the other side, guaranteeing that even if they had a beauty sleep, the game would still be in their favor. See the
Yeah.
pass come out from the Akesha, and after you Gamma Knight, gonna take home the win on Fen versus Akesha.
Oof. It was like I'm thinking back from all the gameplay. I think this fan player like played like everything correctly against a Neelam deck. Yeah, Molly is getting rid of 18 from the reserve.
The
Making it hard for
Amales are
making it hard
such a
for
good
them.
tech for like the Basira list that we saw a bunch of recently. Because it just makes Aklut look really silly.
Absolutely.
It really does. But congrats to Fen locking in the 4-0 at least for the night.
All right, let's see what we got. We got table 10. Straight to table
Table 10.
10.
Got some Reno Warlock enthusiasts in chat. That makes sense. I have full golden Secret Mage for Wild. I really liked Secret Mage in Wild. That was a fun deck. You know why? Because you had a 2 mana 2/3 that bolted people. Wow. Um, I had fully golden Odd Paladin too for Wild. I really like Wild. It was my favorite format to play. I played it way more than Standard. But we're not talking Hearthstone. We're talking Alter trading card game. What table you want to go to? You got one? You
It's
just gonna
okay.
hang out?
It's over.
It's over. Okay.
Yeah, I jumped in and there was a Basir versus Nevenka and the Basira won.
Okay. Chat, you got any burning questions for both me or Gus?
Yeah,
The two most handsome streamers for the Altered
true,
Weekly
dude.
Online League.
True. I am gonna put table 15 in the background here.
Table 15. We'll put
Oh,
it on.
Jesus. For Jiminy Crickets. and you'll see why I say Jiminy Crickets here.
Oh, this is Jiminy Crickets, huh? This is definitely a good background game.
Hiroshi, I think Hiroshi was hanging out with Runefolk one day, and next thing I know, and now there's look Runefolk. Well, look what have you done. I hope you're happy. Now we got a hostage deck situation going on here,
We've got a
and
hostage, but there is a hunger coming out and eating the aether shards. Um, I think at this point it's probably too late, and the hostaging has hostaged enough. Um,
they only play one celebration day, so they most likely have another one, or they just go to sleep.
beauty sleep. Yep. 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 Aether shard.
Patriot Shard. Oh,
Got another
gee.
beauty sleep,
You know what's funny?
or just play that one from
Even
reserve.
if they don't like advance through like
Oh god, that's a
oh
big
man,
Silas.
that's one big sexy man right there coming in.
Look at those abs. I can't
Yeah.
say I actually want to call them. They get me banned. Uh, wow.
You know what's funny? I bought never mind, it doesn't say on the Kickstarter, but I didn't realize the age rating for altars is 13 plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder if it's because Navenka canonically smells bad. Do you know that? Navenka canonically can tell how much time has passed by smelling herself.
Wait, what?
Yep. In one of her first lore articles,
All
it's
right,
a
this is
very
why I don't read lore.
it's very interesting. But honestly though, back to the game at hand. I think hostage Akesha players are unfairly persecuted. I think the deck is actually really interesting. As somebody that does not play control decks myself, but thinks that like the concept behind a hard lock deck is good and healthy for the game, I think that hostage Akesha does so much for like forcing a top end and forcing a clock on decks, right? The decks that I play are usually aggro decks and they can get under it, but they force players to have answers. And if they don't, you just are going to lose. And it makes other decks play more fairly instead of greedy. Um, I really do think that Akesha is really hard to play against for some decks when it's the hostage build, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible. And right
Absolutely.
now, they have basically a hard lock set up. Um, it's gonna be really hard for Itsadi to break out of this. I'm assuming that they're gonna have a celebration day at least in hand. Um,
I would assume so. I mean, they just reshuffled their discards, so
yeah,
exhausting trying to just stall for more time, making this Saudi player, go through more time. I mean, they could just win on time alone, honestly, at this point. But I could see them finishing off the game here if they have what they need.
yeah, they could small step and celebration day. Doesn't look like they will. An Aether Shard. We'll probably just see a regular celebration day come out. You know, magical training first, scout a little bit. Makes sense too.
I don't know. It's just, I mean, 9 mana left. They could potentially not guy in the celebration day. Maybe they're
If
only
they
playing
did
one.
see the celebration day, then yeah,
Okay, there we
yeah,
go.
that's what I was gonna say.
uh,
Celebration day coming out, stopping those expeditions from moving, making those characters go to reserve.
yeah, there's a lot of cards going to reserve.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, indeed.
Now, do
Having
you? I'm
is
surprised they want to mana ramp the Mighty Gen. There's a lot. I mean, you're getting close to 20 cards there, man.
see It is
Only
the
having
common, so they
yeah.
don't have the choice between drawing.
Oh,
Because the rare gives you the choice to draw.
okay.
The common is only mana ramp.
I thought the comic gives you an option.
Yeah. So Akesha here, firmly in control. They're ahead on timer too, so if the timer does go out on them, they're in a pretty comfortable spot. See a mana flare, probably gonna be a hunger from hand. Nope, just a hunger from the reserve.
So essentially kind of free at that point.
There's one cheaper to do so that way. I don't know if that you really care as much about the mana here. You might. Conjuring Seal coming out. Um,
How refreshing the deck here. Maybe another celebration day.
yeah, we'll probably see either Celebration Day or Beauty Sleep loops here and just advance off of or not even loops, but Beauty Sleep activations. Probably just advance off of character statistics. Yeah, all they need
Oh
is to play
yeah,
a
yeah.
Silas and a
I
Studious
think it was just game
Disciple.
over for them. They just gave up.
Yep, Studious Disciple, and they should have. Yep, there's the Silas.
That's a sexy man himself.
So Hiroshi's going to take the 2-0 expedition lead, get 11 boosts on that Silas. He's strong enough to fight anyone.
Try to take a hostage next to my locals.
Hostage decks at locals, the issue with playing them in person is that you don't have a chess timer to make sure the opponent's actually playing at a reasonable pace. At larger events, you can do so because you'll have a judge. But at locals, like a lot of people don't want to call judges on their opponents, which is,
I wouldn't because I'm like the head guy for my local.
and you don't want to be that guy.
And we also played 2 out of 3 as well.
Oh, that's even better then. They can't slow play you. You just win game one and then game two doesn't
I
end.
mean, we have like sometimes we have like 3 goal rank players and we only do like 1 game.
Let's go to table three if you don't mind. I don't think we've watched either of these players this
Yeah,
tournament.
let's go straight to 3. We are round 5 of Ultra Weekly Online League.
Round five of the Altered Weekly Online League.
Yeah, isn't this round 5?
It is.
Yeah, okay. You got me questioning for a second. Is it round 5?
The Altered Weekly Online League. What
Yeah.
a beautiful name. Not a mouthful at all.
I mean, I definitely don't mess up half the time.
So we are going to see a fun little matchup. We have Traced versus Tasia. Now, going into this matchup, before we even see any of the cards or deck lists, who do you think is favored?
Um, hmm. I'm gonna say Muna because I see a Muna unique in front of my desk.
Okay. Okay. So you're gonna say Muna just because of confirmation bias. But
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, if you think about it, if you don't want to think about just basic, like the base deck of a Triss deck versus the base deck of a Muna deck, there is little to no removal against a Muna player. So if they have a multi-anchoring setup deck, it's gonna be kind of hard for Triss players to overcome that.
I agree. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can see previous game that they played. See what type of uniques we're gonna see for the Muna player. See if you're right. If we've got mana
Unless
anchoring.
this is the Muna player that had the Grand Bois. I don't think
They
this
are
is
actually playing card advantage.
Hmm,
Yeah.
okay.
So we're gonna have a very interesting match ahead of us. Trade those expeditions on turn one. One of the best things you can do as, a deck that takes a little bit to get an engine going. Not losing your advantages, always a nice sight to see.
Hulk can overcome the Tasia if they take an addition advantage. That is also true too. The only thing that the Tasia player does have to worry about is hooked.
Asia player also has to worry about, hunger from the top rope. Not even the same faction, just meow, coming in on in there,
Hey,
coming from the game across the table, eating
I'll be
everything on the
coming in,
board,
dude.
saying, "Oops, sorry. What you gonna do about it?"
Here's the one of the uniques we're talking about. The one that at dusk, if I have one more, please draw a card.
You see a frozen delivery come out. There's going to be two cards able to be played from the reserve this turn from our Keelon player.
Ooh, anchoring the spindle harvester. So now you have an opportunity to draw another card for the next 2 days.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they take the double advancement on the companion expedition, one for both players, or if they just choose to go for the hero expedition and even them up and focus on water and mountain stats. I think I like this play. Trace has a decent amount of cards that are heavy water and mountain. Things like this Keelon Elemental, Grems, just a few different things that have a higher mountain and water statistics. Sap Sniffer, Foundry Mechanic. Curious to see if that will work out for them. They are up to 3 counters, which is a pretty good spot to be in. And having that frozen delivery in reserve means that there's a good likelihood they get turned online on this turn, especially
Yep.
since Tasia doesn't really play much reserve interaction.
Nah, I mean the closest thing we got is Little Mouse, but even with Little Mouse is not very good to play against Trist.
How little is that mouse?
I was told it's quite tiny.
Quite tiny. Oh, that's a good resupply. Dr. Frankenstein.
I was thinking about that in my head. I hope they don't play to Frankenstein, but they ended up doing so.
Gus, have you been playing since set one?
Yes, I've been playing for a full year now.
You remember when Trace players were playing Rare Ada Lovelace?
Yes, I do.
You remember Rare Izmir Stargazer too?
Yes, I do.
Just statistically worse Ordish Trooper Rare.
Yes, it is.
Literally just worse. Just in a worse faction, one worse statistic in water. What
But
were we
that,
doing?
but I mean, the idea is like these low cost cars help ramp up Triss, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the low cost cards in Ordis also help, aggro the game out.
Yeah, and we didn't have frozen delivery back then. We had Ada Lovelace who put cards from hand to reserve.
Yeah. You do see the
Ella as
Requiem come
well.
out, answering that Frankenstein. Pretty solid way to get rid of it.
Yeah,
And this Trace is hopefully going to see something that they can play from their uh, draw and draw a card and put a card from your hand into reserve effect. Another Frankenstein would be okay. Um,
be excessive. No Frankenstein.
that's yeah. I don't think they want to like see a Frankenstein that way. A Keelon Elemental would be pretty solid. Um,
Rams
Grems
works
isn't half
for.
bad either. Unfortunately, they cannot use
I mean,
the
they just
most of
need.
its ability.
Yeah, which I mean, it's okay. I mean, I don't think they're gonna be super afraid of a spindle unless
No, I don't think so either. Spindle really doesn't do a whole lot. You just have to put your hooked into mana at that point.
gaining the Keylon counters.
Oh yeah, Capelia, another
Yeah,
traced staple from season one.
yeah.
How far we have come.
Not that far.
Not that far.
No, there's a lot of set one cards are still being used today for Triss.
I think that a lot of set one cards are still being played, but we have a pretty healthy balance of set two and three options for our decks. And I think set four is going to keep bringing more cards in that start phasing out beyond the gates cards.
Yeah,
Um, I I don't mind having an early set be the core for your constructed like gameplay experience for competition. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Um, but I just am curious to see how many cards from the new set will really be impactful enough.
yeah. I mean, we still have a couple more to we have not seen yet. So
You might not have seen them. The revealers may have seen them. Some people might be over there hoarding their reveals, being like, I'm not going to show anything until I get to make sure I'm the last one. And to that, I say,
Focus.
I hope your card's not in the BGA demo decks. All I'm gonna
uh,
say.
I mean, they got till tomorrow, so
What's tomorrow, Gus?
tomorrow is the last day of spoilers.
Oh, that is true. And then on Friday, the registration for a BGA demo deck. Oh,
And then Sunday, 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 Sunday.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
You don't watch football. You're playing demo decks, tournament, BGA, AWOL, thinking in, coming in,
Gonna be
doing
a fun
stuff.
event. I'm curious to see because I haven't seen the demo decks yet. People joke about me being a shill, and a bootlicker and getting all this extra information. If I do, I don't. Um, and I don't even know what the demo decks look like, even though I'm running the tournament. So it'll be very interesting to see what they actually look like for that actual event itself. The registration goes up on Friday for that, if you were unaware. It was going to go up tomorrow, but they had to delay it because the demo decks I don't think were ready yet to be posted, were implemented on BGA. But an article will go out tomorrow about the demo decks themselves, and I believe the content. So,
Yep. Yep.
what hero are you most excited for from the set?
I love all of them. I'm not lie to you.
Yeah,
I even like the Ordis one. I hate Ordis. A passion.
Ortis one actually, I'm not gonna lie, Ortis one is really really cool, and I
Yeah.
just think that it approaches the game from a different lens that Ortis does right now. And I'm curious to see if they'll play into the Ascend expeditions as much as I'm hoping they will.
I think it also addresses like one of the key weaknesses for Ordis where like a lot of them have like even stats, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the main issues for Ordis. Granted, I don't think there's any issues with Ordis because they got everything and more some, but that's that's my opinion, of course.
Can you smell that? That smells like hater in the air.
Yeah, I'm a big hater of Ordis.
I get it. Ortis has been a very dominant and strong deck, and it keeps seeming to get tools. I'm happy to say that like other decks are still viable, and other play styles are viable. So it's not like that's the only way to play, but it sure felt like it in season one sometimes, huh?
Yeah, especially when you start it out and you have a starter deck tournament.
Hey, I played in the starter deck tournaments at Gen Con. I
That's
played
I mean, that's fair.
Muna
Yeah.
because I already had a Ortis deck and a Bravos deck. They're actually unopened back here. They were from my Kickstarter.
Oh,
Um, and I wanted to just get a different deck to play with. So I played Muna, and I went 4-1. My only loss was to Bravos, I think. I can't remember. I was the only person in my faction that had more than 2 wins. It was bad because it was like a team tournament. Like you played against
ah,
a different faction each round.
okay.
And like it was a cool thing, but my everybody that played
You
with
were carrying hard, but you couldn't
it
carry
was
hard
so
enough.
bad. I could not carry hard enough. It was like a game of League of Legends. I was
Oh boy.
smurfing and these noobs just kept feeding, running it down. We do see this Coniferal Cone Man unique. Arrow to gain anchored. Whenever another character joins your expeditions, if you have 2 or more boosted cards, draw a card. Pretty strong with how Tasia works with boosts. Gonna make it so that pretty much every character you play ends up drawing a card in the mid to late game.
Yep,
Um, which, card advantage we talked about earlier on the stream for Tasia specifically and Muna is a little bit harder to come by.
definitely is. I'm actually surprised to see this tiny Jin in their deck here.
It gives you some ramp options and actually has, the boost opportunity too. So I almost wonder if it's like a play to work with the Cone Man, or at least ramp you to have access to it. But there's definitely some interesting and cool deck building going on right now. And that's honestly one of the things I'm really most excited about that what we've seen recently is just the innovative deck building we've seen from players to approach certain matchups in a way that lets them like win those matchups more handily, right?
Yeah,
Um, like for example, the onset of people playing Sap Duende has to have affected the amount of Hunger players and Basira players we've seen in tournaments recently.
I feel like it. Now you mention it, Sap Wendy has been definitely increasing
Like
as
the
of
Fen
late.
players were playing it to a decent amount. The fact that like your opponent can hunger you, then you can play a character in that same expedition and Duende that boosts onto your own thing and kind of like Uno Reverso their hunger is a really strong play.
Yeah,
But then also just with Basira getting extra boosts and just like the format right now having a lot of boosts in it is very interesting to see.
yeah. I think it's just something to be definitely be careful about, especially when you're going against a Muna player or or a Lyra player.
Yeah. Definitely something to keep an eye out for. We do see from our Muna player, we see a Yongsu Verdant Weaver common come out. This isn't a card
Yeah,
that a lot of people play, but it seems to have been a pretty solid inclusion right here at this point.
I think just a card for strong stats. I mean, stat it up 555 for 3 costs.
Yep. 555 for 3. We got good contesting statistics. We will see a hook to come out, moving the
There it
Yongsu
is.
over.
That's the first hook to the game, I believe, right?
It is indeed the first hook to the
Oh,
game.
no,
Trace,
no, no, never mind. There was another hook. We completely missed it.
oh, did we?
We did.
Are we sure it wasn't just discarded to something?
I mean, might have been discarded or something, but I see it in discard. So
You know, we were talking, we were yapping. It's okay. This is like a podcast stream
yeah,
alongside actual
yeah.
gameplay commentary. This is what you get when you get a Simon stream. 'Cause I'm like locked behind the bars all season long, and I got so many things I want to say, but I don't get to say them until the end. So I got to make sure that I
Hey,
say
I
them.
love it. I love you giving me the opportunity to be with you for you to yap.
I am the yap master. I can yap with the best of them.
I never really talked to you to now, so I'm just
Look,
like he's yapping.
it's one of those things that people don't realize until they start to get me in a room or a call, and I just motor mouth. I got infinite words. I got lots of things to say.
Hey, people want to hear you say things, right,
If
guys?
people want to hear me say things, they're crazy.
Nah.
Regardless, we do see,
You're beloved in the community.
uh I'm not sure about that. We see that Tiny Jin come out from the reserve. Tasia has so many cards in their hand right now due to these uniques. And like the uniques
Yeah, oh my
being card
goodness.
draw uniques means you're more likely to see your other uniques, which will then draw you even more cards. It's almost like a snowball effect. Like how often do you hear about a Tasia player putting down their 10th mana and still having 11 cards in hand to work with? Like
I will call you a liar.
yeah, no, like for real. Like I
They're
would
like, "What are you
straight up
talking
tell me,
about?"
"Oh, you're like trolling, right?" Like that's just not real. But
It's like, is either you're going against gold rank players or you just stolen or
it's
you just
actually
lying to
real
me.
and true, believe it or not.
Real and true. That is crazy.
Yeah, that's like 11 cards in hand after placing your 10th mana is nuts. You know what they need to do? They need to play a Loki. Discard them all.
Yes, it's
Discard
sorry.
all
Yes,
those
like, yeah,
cards.
I did this all for Loki.
It was a flex. It was style points. That's what I was going for. Traced using the hero ability, drawing a card, picking a card to put from hand into the reserve. Anansi's coming out, not too surprising. That's going to be a 2 mana 4/4/4. Unless we see this Haven Bravos Bastion, going to boost it up a little bit more as well. Get another resupply. Coniferal Cone Man coming out. And this Cone Man has honestly just been putting in so much work. Its stats are pretty fine for having an arrow anchor. And then the extra condition of drawing a card, because Trace doesn't have that hard removal, it's going to be really hard for them to like ever answer this, especially
Yeah.
next turn if they can push it to an arena game.
Yeah, I think the only hope is to push it to the arena game here. I mean, this thing did cost 5 mana, right? And it's not like it's something to sleep on as well. I think Tasia player now might just kind of slow play a little bit and wait to use the beauty sleeps or requiem, depending what the first players does here.
The thing is, even though they have all these cards in hand, they don't have a whole lot of cheap options to play with, right? And they have 4 mana remaining to use. So even though they have a bunch of cards, they're probably only going to be able to play at most 3. So are those 3 cards going to be impactful enough? We do see a Talarian Skater using its scout ability. Pretty solid. Gonna actually draw a card with this Cone Man because of that scout ability. That's some neat synergy right there.
Yeah, I could probably I can only imagine this might just go straight to tiebreaker here.
I do believe that that's probably the situation we're gonna be in. Um, the Anansi, though, giving those extra boosts, I feel like we have to play the Yongsu here to make sure that we're not going to lose. Ogun is pretty solid as well, putting some extra boosts out and drawing another card.
Yeah, but if they play hooked, I mean beauty sleep only costs one, right? So
If they do have a beauty sleep, that does set them up for a pretty solid win here. But we're gonna see Haven
uh,
Bastion activated. Amelia comes out from the reserve, gains a
yeah,
boost.
this is probably the better call here. It is very risky to just throw in a hooked and then just pray they don't have beauty sleep, even though they have like 12 cards in hand or 11 cards in hand.
So if they have the Haven and Keylon Cylinder and Sap Sniffer, that's 3 boosts. So the Sniffer will go up to a 3/4/4. They could actually they might just win off stats alone here.
Yeah.
Because a Sap Sniffer, they're gonna use the Bastion, play the Sap Sniffer, give itself a boost, and then they'll still have the Keylon Cylinder play. But Tasia has to make the choice right here, right now. And if they don't have a beauty sleep for this Anansi, they are in serious trouble.
Yeah, I think they do have the beauty sleep. I think they're just trying to think like where to put it at.
So if they use beauty sleep, they could probably get away with using it on the Amelia, right? Because Sap Sniffer comes out. We've agreed that Sap Sniffer is going to also potentially provide 3 boosts. One has to go onto it. Two can go wherever you'd like.
Yeah.
Um, so they could
Hmm.
they could put the beauty sleep onto the Amelia and force the Sap Sniffer to put all the counters on itself and trade expeditions and go to an arena game.
Well, be what, one, two, three boosts. It'll be three, four, four on it. Yeah.
Yep, here comes the beauty sleep. Let's see if they see the math. Yep, they do
Yeah,
get the
they do see
Amelia
math.
Earhart.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Now, something really interesting to note here is that with this Sap Sniffer play, they can't just put extra boosts on the Amelia because they have to use at least 2 boosts to tie and 3 boosts to advance and stop the opponent. So all of the boosts basically have to go onto the Sap Sniffer.
Yeah.
There really will only be those 3/3/3 and stats sticking around for next turn.
Absolutely. I mean, even though they go to the tiebreaker, it's gonna be kind of rough for them with the two anchor characters that are in play versus their Amelia Earhart.
2 anchored characters, a Yongsu that could get big, and removal doesn't matter. Like,
I think that Trish is just trying to do the math here to make sure they got everything correct here before I start playing.
yeah, no, that makes sense. Although the timer is going to end up being a factor if this game goes much longer. Trace only has about 40 seconds left on the clock, while Tasia has about 6.5 minutes.
Yeah.
The game could go. See, they have to use this Keylon cylinder on Sap Sniffer. Yep.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to a very interesting turn here.
Yeah, this is where Hook doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, hooked does not matter at this point. Stats are king. And
Yeah,
what has better stats than Yongsu Common?
that's true.
3 mana, 5/5/5, rare Haven Warrior, get out of here. Rare
And
Katagiri
yeah,
Alchemist, get out of
yeah.
here.
And the other issue is to remember this is Triss we're talking about. There gonna be no removal
Yeah.
coming in, most likely.
Unless they're
So
playing like a spicy Keylon Cylinder, which they could be, or
it could be.
Keylon Burst or an
Yeah.
Avalanche. But it's just unlikely, right? Like we
Yeah.
have not seen that, and there's a reason we haven't seen it. It's because it's almost kind of clunky. They would rather like have those hooked to make card advantage plays that also end up with the same result as a removal spell in most cases, except for the arena.
And his Mundo player just resupply to a Requiem. That's perfect.
Yeah, Requiem's pretty good here. They have infinite cards to work with, basically. 12 cards in,
Yeah,
my bad, 13 cards in hand,
cards.
so much mana. Ugh, just a crazy situation to be a part of.
Yeah, if you guys don't, you guys just came into this weird, crazy time. This Cone Man unique here is when another character joins your expedition, if you control two more boosted characters, draw a card. So you can see the amount of real estate they have in their hand here, just from this one unique. It's
You
crazy.
know, it's been a while. When we hopped into this game, we made some predictions about who would win. Do you
I,
remember who we predicted?
I picked the Muna.
I can't remember what I did.
I don't know. I don't think you did it. I don't think you said anything.
Maybe I didn't.
I think you asked me the question and then you started talking about something else.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right. The true Simon experience.
Hey, we're all loving the Simon experience here.
So Talarian Skater comes out, gives a boost, draws a card after use. Does so many powerful things here. Splitting up those stats.
Just drawing more cards. We might actually see a Muna player having to uh recycle the discard. I never thought I'd see a day.
I actually didn't even consider that is going to potentially happen. I just want to see it, just for the
Yeah,
stream
just do
meme.
it. Just do it.
Play a 2 cost character, play a 3 cost character. We got that Sap Sniffer coming out.
Yeah.
Traced is just smelling that blood in the water, but the bloods themselves is not the Tasia.
It's funny because this player is also on their phone playing this, so so I can only imagine the view is very difficult.
They're playing
with
on their
14
phone
cards.
and they have more time left than their opponent. I think that's an impressive achievement,
Yeah,
actually.
all gone.
So we
Drawing
do see
another
another
card.
Ogun come out, drawing another card. Can we see the reshuffle?
We will definitely see the reshuffle. This player is going to play something else.
Unless they play like a mana reaping.
Nah, I don't see it. I don't see anything. This one player definitely has it in the bag. There's just no way unless they play like unless this just player has like not Avalanche. I think Blizzard is out of faction for Axiom, isn't it?
Yongsu!
Yongsu, there it is. Only
Deck
6 cards.
reshuffle.
That reshuffle, 6 cards left in the deck after that reshuffle. This is incredible.
14 cards in hand. That's more than a third of their deck in their hand. This is why we need more Baku effects.
We need Baku Fed that does more than 1 card and let us pick.
Yep. Grem's coming out. I don't think it's going to matter too much. They're already
Yeah.
down by more than half in statistics.
Yeah, there's just no way for them to come back from this devastation.
Yeah, the Trace just could never get an expedition lead, and that's where Trace thrives from.
Yeah.
Forcing these tiebreaker games is not really where you want to be as Traced for the most part. Sometimes it's fine. But man, not against this current setup and not against all of these big beefy characters.
Oh yeah, I think the biggest issue for them was just because was able to anchor cards. Anchoring the cards there just makes it so difficult for them to excel what they want to do.
Yeah, so congrats to Tasia for taking the W.
I think they're were they also undefeated still?
Um, no, no,
No, they're one loss. That's right.
no.
We still have one more table, and is the Akesha versus Muna here.
Indeed.
We see another big hand, but this time from the Tasia player, which makes much more sense. For anyone who just jumps in here and see this, it makes much more sense than the other alternative.
It does indeed. Now, this Requiem was cast without, unfortunately, any targets other than their own.
Yeah, I wonder why they played the Requiem here.
They probably know that they're already losing because of this Feast of
Celebration Day,
Thoughts,
Speaks of Thoughts, Celebration Day. Yeah,
but it could also be a misclick. They may have thought that it was able to remove the permanents, or hoping to get a undo button, which are not a thing in our events. Getting rid of their own sneezer shroom.
interesting to see the Feast of Thoughts in this deck here. You could
Using a
use it.
magical chain.
You could use it to draw uh 6 cards, 7 cards if you choose to do so.
True. They're probably gonna make all the tokens though and win the game here, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I would assume spamming 7 tokens, any 14 all would be the more optimal choice.
Maybe by a little bit. Maybe by a little bit.
Just a tiny bit. I mean, they could remove never mind, that'd be kind of weird to do so.
Move counters.
Yeah, remove counters.
They could also sabotage.
They could sabotage. They could do 7 things.
What a powerful card when you can get it set up. And against Muna that does not have many ways to interact with the reserve, a pretty solid card.
That's another good game. Hiroshi taking the book out of Runefo, but making it better because it's not going to complete hostage territory a little bit. Just a tad bit.
All right.
All
So that's
right.
going to be the end of the game. And because that was our last match of round five, we got an exciting finals ahead of us with a
That's
player we
true.
watched and a player we haven't.
Yeah. The player I met Sarcasm in Baltimore.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he's a great guy.
So we've got Sarcasm versus After You's very own Mbruza. We've watched Mbruza before. They've played Bravos, specifically Kojo. Interestingly enough, I believe Sarcasm is also a Kojo player.
He
Looks
is
like they're
not,
playing Traced right now, though.
yeah. I forgot what he was playing in Baltimore. I'm not sure he was playing Kojo. I think he was playing Trist. I could be wrong.
We do have Kojo versus Traced. This is an interesting matchup and one that I actually think is pretty fun. Both characters can get a lot of stats into play pretty quickly, and the early turns can be really crucial for determining who sets the tempo in the game. Kojo getting that first player marker can be seen as an advantage. Trace does have a lot of cheap cards though, so it's not always able to take a 2-1 or a 2-0. If the Trace can turn it into a 1-1 trade, they're probably in a good spot.
Yeah, I think it depends what they have their hand. I think probably the best thing they have is maybe Keelan Elemental and then Amelia Earhart. Just trying to stop the Buddha and advancing on the other side.
Yes, we do see a Bravos Pathfinder come out. Pretty strong turn one play. If Traced has something to match or go over the top of the Kojo, it'd probably be pretty happy with that.
There is a Keelan Elemental.
and we see a Keylon cylinder. So not a bad option overall. Tiny Jin comes out. Keylon cylinder will be able to, come down, get some extra counters, get prepared for future turns. As long as they make sure to use it.
Yeah, this is gonna be 2 for 1 here, so
Yeah, so 2 for 1. Not the most ideal situation for Trace, but also not the worst. I think what I would be most worried about are just how perfectly these stats for Mountain line up on the hero expedition and how hard it actually makes it for you to, contest on either side. Having solo Mountain on one expedition and Mountain on a dual region on the other side, these characters is going to be, you know, just difficult to handle. We do see that frozen delivery though coming out, giving a couple more options.
yeah, that Gramus is gonna be a little bit of threat for the Kojo player here. They decide to play any landmarks.
Yeah, it's really good dual purpose against Kojo. We saw some Haven Bravos Bastions from this Kojo player a couple turns or a couple rounds ago.
Yep.
So the Grems being able to remove those are pretty solid. But the alternative mode on Grems of sack a permanent, make a brass bug is really strong as well because that's 2 mana for 3/4/4 in stats, especially if it was a permanent you weren't using anymore. But we do just see the Keylon Elemental come down. I'm worried here that they're gonna get another 2 for 1 advancement if they have another 2 cost character in hand, like a Haven Sirengar.
Yeah. I mean, they could have a scrambler, not scrambler, a salvager in hand.
That's true. But that overloads your reserve so much.
Yeah. It's not yeah, it's not an ideal place to put. They actually decided to pass.
Yeah, I think what happened is the Kojo player was debating on whether or not they wanted to use a removal spell on this Keylon Elemental, and I think they smartly opted to hold off on playing it and just wait for a future turn. But
I
notably, the Traced forgot to use the Keylon Cylinder's ability, so it should have actually gone up to 4 Keylon counters. I'm curious to see if that matters for this match.
yeah, I definitely have seen and well, not just seen, personally have forgotten plenty of Kilon counters to the point where, like, if I had 4 instead of 2, it would have affected the game quite differently.
Absolutely. So we will see Embruza first to take an action, having that 6 mana. Um, they're in an okay set of statistics for a rare Mighty Djinn here. They can put
Yeah.
it on either side and have those stats contest. But
Ooh.
that
Uh,
was pretty best case scenario for the trace resupply. Just gotta hope they don't see a sabotage. Mighty Djinn coming
there's a
out
mighty
just as
gen right there.
expected, going on that expedition. Uh,
Yeah, what
so
do you do here, though?
Trace is in a spot where it's, do I get my hero ability online and use both cards from my reserve? Or do I just play it safe and play Dr. Frankenstein and trade expeditions?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they wanna use the Grams right away. Maybe most likely they don't have another Grams in hand in case they play a landmark.
If they have another 2 cost card in hand that they can use to get into the reserve this turn, the trace is online next turn, I think that's fine. Keeping the Grems for the Bravos Bastion in this matchup to make sure that you don't get out statisticked is reasonable. And they do have a character to play, so they will have another thing in their reserve to make, you know, the traced active without committing the Keylon or the Grem play just yet. But Embruza with Kojo going to get a draw probably here. Going
Oh,
straight into mana. You
right
know
to
what that
mana.
tells me?
Hunger?
They either have hunger or they have red physical training in hand. And they want to
Oh,
just play red and physical training to have it be a 8/8/8 that drew two cards that's going to be 2 mana from the reserve to play next turn as well.
yeah.
Um choosing actually to not do anything with the mana, which I
Maybe
think is
they
reasonable.
maybe they have a mana eruption in hand here. They know they don't want to go behind mana.
So that's a reasonable assumption. I think that the main thing after reconsidering the board state is that they don't really have the luxury of the regions in Mighty Jin's favor right now. We do see a hook to come out, moving this Haven Bravos bouncer. Just Haven bouncer. I just like making sure that Bravos gets recognized, appreciated, and loved.
I don't know. I don't know. I was talking to Geo here.
Geo is a faction trader. He is a Ordis man, and nothing you can say can tell me otherwise. He was Ordis for set one. He was Ordis for set two. The Bravos has just started being a recent thing of his.
Ah, no, don't tell me he's a fashion like what you call them? Like a fashion
Faction hopper.
faction hopper. There we go.
But I can't blame him. Bravos is pretty great. We do see a brass bug come out from this
Yeah.
bug out bag. Gibble's support ability is it Gibble or Gibble? Do you know?
I see Gibble.
So Gibble's support ability will be able to trigger that bug out bag, which means that they will go over the top in that expedition and
Yeah,
not, overcrowd a reserve too much.
it could be double advance for the for sarcasm here.
Here comes the Haven Sirengar. It's probably looking with this current board state to be a double advance, but is a 2-1 instead of a 2-0, which means that we'll be all tied up on our regional expeditions. Oh, no, 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 no. I forgot that the rare salvager does not have a point in water. So that's actually going to be a 1-0 and slow the game down a little bit.
Yeah, you're trying to catch up from the from what happened what day one, day two.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, I'm curious to see what Embruzo chooses to here.
I'm assuming he gets rid of the bouncer. I don't see any need for it, but I understand it would give a good amount of stats with the even.
So the bouncer I think is the easy choice, but it becomes a matter of what are you going to play on your next turn, right? So it all depends on the cards that we draw here. The Haven Sirengar is really strong on the hero expedition this turn. It's got all those juiced forest stats to compete with the opponent's solo forest expedition
Yeah,
while
yeah,
they can do forest water. But
yeah.
it does mean that you don't get to draw the card until after it leaves.
That's true.
Physic- Physical training, on the other hand, on the Kojo token or the Buddha token that's going to come out, um, that means that they get to see that card immediately. So the Armored Jammer Sabotage is meaningful, but I'm not sure how meaningful it will end up being, depending on the context of Embruza's hand here. We do see a hook to come out. Going to move that
So, ah,
Haven Sirengar
I think I would have moved to Buddha, honestly.
and
You-
then just tried to compete in the water region.
yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that not you won't see a lot of strong water characters for Bravos. I mean, there is Pathfinder, but
Pathfinder's like the best one, and
that's one, yeah.
Isenboshi too, but I don't know if we saw any Isenboshis when we saw them earlier, so we have a Merlin coming into the reserve. That's
Yeah,
a
that's something yeah,
spicy play.
that's something you see often.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I guess that they do have a removal, one singular removal.
The singular removal is now singularly in the trash. In the reserve. It's not the trash.
Not yet.
And Bruiser thinking about what they want to play here. Tiny Jin comes out, goes on that side. They could have a Fire Rabbit that they might be trying to just hard ramp with here. I almost think that keeping the Tiny Jin. Okay.
I think I would have kept the tiny gen.
They are not using the Rabbit's ability though, so they're going to keep both. Here comes Gibble. Gibble. Gaining those two Helon counters. So it does not look like it will matter this game, but always could have. Or
I mean, yeah,
Leia get 5-1 with Orok
heck yeah.
tonight. Only loss being from the caster curse. I'll take it.
That's all Simon's fault. I take zero blame for it.
Martingale's a great card. You got to play your one cost 1/1 zeros.
For
I tell you, they're
free.
broken.
For free, man. For free.
Free. Hey, free real estate.
I mean, you never know. One mana cost could have cost you the game even more.
So we have an interesting sequence here. Armor Jammer comes out. It's going to sabotage probably the Tiny Gen.
Yeah.
Gibble has the opportunity to use the support ability targeting the Jammer and getting rid of the Rabbit unless they play the Rabbit right here, right now, which is fine. I think
Yeah.
that's usually what you would do in this situation as Kojo anyways.
Yeah. One mana after you is probably pretty ideal
But
to
if
see
the
what
Kojo has hunger, right? Like I don't think they do, but if they do, a really strong effect. We just see a
yeah.
bouncer come out instead, getting rid of that Gibble with a sabotage. Bug out bag, very fantastic card. Taking those brass bugs. Fire Rabbit on the opposite expedition, just starting to split up some stats. Traced hero ability coming down, drawing a card, gonna put something into that reserve. See
Ooh.
our first unique of the entire
I mean,
match,
yeah, I
right?
know. It took a while.
Took us
Fro
a
I
while.
know, from reserve, you may put a card from your hand in reserve, you do draw a card.
Hey, look, it's an Ada Lovelace.
Yeah. You know, you could just play Ada Lovelace sarcasm. You don't need unique for it.
Leia, I know you're interested in getting your top posted for Orok on 39 cards, but we actually decided to not post this week. It was decided upon by the admins, so it's unfortunately not going to happen.
Crazy,
But we do have the Grems.
which is also crazy. Yeah, but I think at this point, do you really wanna play the Grams to just take out the Haven here, or
You
do
don't
you
have to
wanna
take out a Haven.
yeah.
You can use it to sacrifice something to get that extra bump.
Yeah, maybe try to end the game here.
And Mbruza's right now looking down like a not ideal situation. Hopefully they'll have two different 2 mana cards to play with in their hand. So that way they can at least, see what the opponent's trying to do. See.
Yeah, I
Tough
think
decisions, but
yeah, it's
plenty of
very
time
tough
to think.
choice.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they might have a Tracer in hand, potentially. I mean, we haven't seen that many different type of cards being played by Bruiser here
They could have a
besides.
duel of grit.
Hey, Argon, congrats, man. You got your invitation. W.
There's that duel of grit coming out, beating up on that Amelia Earhart. Rems coming out. Using the support ability, I'm assuming, to put a brass bug on the other expedition. Ooh, you did not have to sacrifice that, my friend. Could have gotten rid of your armored jammer.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they did that. That didn't have fleeting, right?
Correct.
You do see the tracer coming in, blocking off sarcasm's side here. So we could see a potential hunger coming in, sweeping the side and just calling the game right there. Now that the Koja player is ahead by one. Oh, never mind. I did forget there is a Keylon
Yeah, the
cylinder.
Keelon cylinder being able to make sure that they still advance on their expeditions is very, very helpful here. But honestly, being down that extra bug out bag could be a meaningful difference here.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm not sure why he did that. Maybe it was a misclick. I mean, it was right next to the landmark.
Mayhaps. They also chose to just even up the tumult instead of going one for one, which I think is reasonable. The Kojo player's starting to run out of gas at this point, and they've already gone through a couple of their card draw options. So there's a good chance that they could be able to just grind the opponent out here, which, is a very meaningful strategy and reasonable strategy as
Yeah.
traced.
Yeah. Compared to the last time we saw Bruiser here with the Koja going straight from the gate from the last game we saw from him. The time he's not really going crazy here.
They do get the Buddha token. This is a Buddha turn. We see the Haven Bravo Bastion coming on out, hitting a Haven Siren Guard. Now that's really good. They have to hope that there's no sabotage from the opponent. They have showed an armored jammer, but it doesn't look like they're going to have the opportunity.
Oh, this is the last Grams right here.
It
I
is the
believe.
last
Yeah.
Grems.
And there is two havens out on the board here, which is very threatening.
Two Havens, one Grems.
Loosening of that Saren guard twice. It's crazy.
Now, if you're playing for the long game, you have to get rid of the Haven Bastions, right? Because the advantage you get from the stats is simply not worth the advantage they'll get from the stats of the Brass Bug, that is not worth the stats they'll get from their Haven Bastion. But at the same time, they might be trying to push for a win on this turn. And if that's the case, then they're not really going to do anything by removing those Haven Bastions. They might just need like the short term boost of the
Yeah.
Brass Bug.
Yeah. I mean, there's still things they can do here. I only played one hooked. I actually only played one frozen delivery too. They gone through a good amount of their deck already.
And Breeze has got some difficult decisions to make. I do not envy being in their
Yeah, with 4 mana left, it's just like there's only I play the two cards in hand if they're low. Oh, I see the Isumbushi coming in. It could be a removal from hand, maybe dual grid.
hooked. Moving on over that Haven Sirengar. Man, which, if they play out this bouncer, it's just gonna get hooked too. And then
I'm not, yeah, yeah. I think at this point you have to play the bouncer.
because if you don't play the bouncer, then the Grems can advance on Mountain on the other side.
Yeah,
You have to play the bouncer, it'll get hooked over, and then Grems can just come out and answer the Bastion. They can do both, right? Like,
yeah, yeah.
so it'll come out, answer the Bastion. Kojo will have one card in hand, one Bastion to work with, and Trace is in a pretty favorable position if so. But they're going to opt to try to just get the stats for the next turn, looks like. But if you're just opting for the stats, you're gonna have to discard to your reserve here.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure they should have played the Grams there to get rid of the one of the Bastions.
I think getting rid of the Bastion's a reasonable play because of how good the Isenboshi is
Yeah.
on the Hero Expedition.
Yeah, and not only that is like if you get into tiebreaker this day, it's gonna be very, very unfavorable for you if you still have these two Bastions out.
So we'll see what they've got access to.
There's no Buddha this day.
We do have a
Oh,
sabotage,
utter
which is good.
sabotage.
And that does negate the effectiveness of those Haven Bastions. So if that was a card that they had in hand from last turn, I can see that being a reason why they didn't want to commit their Grems just yet.
Ooh, what do we do here? Ooh, that is a good card to play on that side. Able to block the forest and mountain terrain. I guess Sarcasm is going to try to compete.
And we got a battle of the bastions here.
Yeah, yes, we do. Not looking good from for Kojo here. I think sarcasm might. I think sarcasm don't have in the bag this day. It's going to look kind of rough for Bruiser here.
And it looks like Sarcasm had some pretty intelligent choices early on in the match of deciding to, instead of trade expeditions, stall expeditions to make a game last longer for their favor, knowing that they'd be able to get more card advantage than the Kojo the longer the game went on. But one thing to note, Kojo's got 15 cards left in their deck, right?
Yeah,
Where's the uniques?
where are they? That's
Traced has 3 cards left in their deck. Where are the uniques? Both players are over halfway through their decks, and we've only seen one unique come out. Is
yeah.
this a no unique championship?
That's what I'm thinking here. I mean, they could play unique right here. This could be it.
I could indeed. We see the Grems come out.
Looks like Gibbo won't be played from a reserve here. Most likely use the reserve ability. I can only imagine the last card in hand is either a dual grid or a tracer.
Or maybe it's a 4 mana unique.
Four man unique couldn't play it.
Duel of Grid or Tracer would be quite unfortunate. Tracer's not the worst here, but Duel of Grit really
Yeah,
isn't that impactful.
I think they're just trying to decide what to do here at this point. Where like, if it's a character, do you try both sides? Do you just stack everything on top?
So right now, with the Keelon cylinder, they know they're losing on the companion side. That's just a fact. They're
Yeah,
able to put a boost on that companion. We do see a Chiron, giving the
that's
boost to itself.
probably the worst card to see.
Not ideal, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
We see a hooked moving
Well,
the Chiron over, drawing a card. Do
okay.
you have another character?
I'm assuming
Or are we
sarcasm
just
has a
gonna hooked
character.
and move
There we
Anansi?
go. The
There
Nazi.
we go.
Go.
Anansi coming out, big boost, big buffs.
Boosting it up. GG. The top players here. Sarcasm being undefeated.
Just a masterclass, honestly, on how to approach this matchup.
Yeah. I think the tie was definitely a good call on their part.
Honestly, a well-deserved win. Well played by Embriza too. They got so close. I mean, you can see their Kaibara counter was at 0. This was a
Yeah.
close match all around, and it required some really difficult decisions and piloting choices from both players. So, honestly, congratulations to both. Both of them are at least locked in for the seasonal invitational. which is upcoming in a couple weeks.
Yep, 2 weeks.
Almost a week and a half at this point. Be here before we know it.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
So, congrats to Sarcasm for getting that W, putting themselves firmly at 6-0 undefeated in today's tournament.
We still have one more table to go through.
Table 8.
Table 8. You know what's interesting? I don't think we saw a single Mortis player. I think we saw one, but momentarily, that's it.
Did we really?
There was no Gorang, well, obviously no Waru, but I think there was one Siggy player, and I'm not sure who they were. I think we mainly saw was Fen, Trist, Luna.
Speaking of Fen,
They are they're pretty hefty at the moment.
wow. A lot of stats.
Yes, buddy. We do have the Athena unique in reserve from the Trist. I'm trying to read it here. From reserve, if you control two more landmarks that lose fleeting. From hand, you may discard a card from your reserve. If you do, you may discard target permanent with hand cost four or more.
Pretty good answer for like the Mesictet decks with Gurong. Um,
Yeah.
you might run into issues with. And being a 2 mana 4/2/2 that's loses fleeting, not the worst situation ever. I can see plenty of situations where I would play that Athena.
Yeah, decided to play the hug, move the Nazi to the other side, saying, "No way, Jose, you ain't gonna be taking a double advancement this day."
And that hooked is such a game changer against any of the Anansi cards that like I mean that Anansi was winning solo on the other side and now it just moves over and instead of turning a 2-0, the expeditions are going 1-1 and the Trace Kaibara counters at 0 and they still have a hooked for next turn too and you are losing out on other card. Man, this is a weird situation to be in.
Yeah. I mean, based on the live contortionist, they're losing two cards. Yep, there we go.
And the Tech Lab unit, lots of cool cards keeping this Fens reserve mighty juicy.
Oh yeah. I mean, they just played the Nazi right now, just on the game, the simple four boost.
Yeah,
That's
two
pretty
mana
strong
six
as it
six
is.
six. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Of course, we have the hooked here on the table, which is a consideration they have to be wary of.
I almost wonder if they'll have enough cards to play out as after use before the hooked even comes into play.
We do love sarcasm here.
Got that Haven Bravos Bastion coming down, hitting a clutch resupply on an Axiom Salvager. You know what hero I'm excited for from the new set?
It's a Moyo.
Oh no.
Wow.
Moya is cool, but I'm excited for Isari and Pebble.
Which one's that one? Is that a Lyra one?
Axiom,
Axiom?
Axiom.
Okay.
I got some nasty stuff going on.
Fancy stuff.
I have concocted some very interesting strategies I'm excited to use.
I do too. It's called the hunger.
My deck will actually be pretty okay against the hunger. Um,
I'm expecting I think I saw it in one of the Kojo deck before, but there's like the out of faction snap stiffer and out of faction like Rams being used in Bravos decks.
I like Grems and Bravos just in general. I've tried playing them in my Kojo decks when I've had extra space, and I've never been upset about it. Um, because it's also like kind of good in the mirror for Kojo.
Yeah.
But Trace's gonna have to commit a decent amount of cards here.
I mean, you guys are both resource masters here. Just so much stuff clutter up.
So many game objects in play right now.
Yeah. I didn't even realize there was a paper herald you need to came in. When you roll a die or more, blah, blah, blah. If you control a landmark, I gain 2 boost. Add does, roll a die, 4 plus, you may have target character other than me lose.
So it basically will get 2 more boosts at dusk.
Yes.
See the Frankenstein coming out, activating the bug out bag, making, one of those fancy little buggers.
Little bug. They released the tokens look for the next set
For the brass bugs, oh yeah, they're
today.
mom gliders. Doesn't know about mom gliders.
did,
It's a
did,
joke.
did they do for them moths yet and the recruits?
We've seen Moth. We haven't seen anything that makes an Ortis recruit yet.
Okay.
And Breeza in the chat saying that they handed them the game. They forgot about a Keelon boost and had a Chiron to force a zigzag. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And it's hard, especially, you're going into
Yeah.
the 6th round. You've been playing for a few hours. It's been a tough matchup. It's always going to be difficult playing at the highest level. So
Yeah.
going at least 5-1 against some tough players is something to be proud of. So hopefully you can at least, enjoy that. But
Yeah.
we do see, our Athena coming out getting a huge amount of stats. But at dusk we're gonna have a dice roll, which means that it doesn't even matter. And we'll go
Yeah.
up to enough to double
That's
advance.
double advance.
And Fen will take the W, get that victory,
Was able to play
discard to
around the
reserve
hooks,
size.
which is pretty great.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely indeed.
I think after this game, it's that's it.
I
We
do
go
think that
to
is,
we go to round 7.
yeah, round 7.
The hidden round.
See ya. All right.
Alright. So what do we got here for our standings?
We have Sarcasm coming in first place. Got After You and Bruiser in second. And Erlea with the Orok 5-1 coming in third.
Incredible. That should have been Triss, Kojo, and Aurak right there.
Yep. And then we have Tasia in fourth place. And I'm assuming Argon was playing Kojo as well. I know they're a Bravos player, but I'm not entirely sure. So, you
Yeah.
know, we'll see them when they go up on 39 cards.
Yep, 39cars.com.
39cards.com. Like it,
Alright.
love it. Guys.
Alright, Simon. Well, that's the end of the stream right here. We are at time.
We are indeed done.
This
It's been
is
a
the
long one, but it's been a
yeah,
fun one.
yeah, I mean, it's great talking to you, having you here, man. You know, the director, CEO, CFO, other titles I can't think of right
CMO, COO,
now. Those OOOC,
LOL, MDR,
Alpha Copter, all that stuff, dude.
all of the I
I
know.
am showing my age.
Well, it was fun. I was glad I was able to hop on with you, have a good time with it. Yeah, we got demo deck tournament information going up over the next couple days. Make sure you don't miss out on the registration for that on Friday. And then next week we've got our seasonal invitational. So if you are free on Sunday the 28th and you are qualified, I'd love to see you there.
Any last words, Simon?
Um, I cannot wait to get my butt up out of this chair and into my bed.
All right, looks like Simon is going straight to bed, guys. I am not. So you everyone else have a great night. This is Gus the Buzz as your host with the lovely Starshine Simon himself coming in to help co-host with me and revealing the 2 or 3 new cards. I'll pop up the screen real quick. You haven't seen it, the Bravo Signet
So
and out of
cool.
faction Signet for
So
Yasmir.
cool.
Yasmir got ramped this time. Crazy. I never thought I'd see the day.
And now you have.
Now I
You
have.
can die a happy man.
All right. Well, that's all from all of us, guys. So bye bye. Bye 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 bye.